has clearance right now.
Yeah! How you feeling, Slee?
Oh,
you're rich.
It's a good weekend.
You made some money this weekend. Look,
The top?
no.
Made money back.
No.
No, I'm actually plus. I'm
You're
plus.
one of the very few people who made money in the Masters pool.
It was a good weekend.
Was
I
a
mean, the whole
good weekend for you. Roars to you, Em. How was your weekend? Good?
Or
Not so good?
No, I injured my back on Saturday, so I am currently wearing a back brace and
Just take a bunch of pills and get all hopped up.
was on a bunch of pills yesterday,
Yeah.
but got to watch a lot of sports. It was a good day to be immobile
If you're on-
because
yeah,
I
if
had
you're
lots
on
of
a lot of
sports.
pills and you can't move with your back.
Look, if
why
you're
not
gonna
on
be,
a Sunday and
laid
just
up
have
on
all
the
the
couch,
sports?
you got a Laker game, you got the Masters, you got a Dodger game. That's not, it's not a bad
nothing
way
better.
to do it. Buenos dias.
Hey, buenos dias.
So we've spent, 6 months of the regular season getting to where, hey, Lakers going to be
Start October. Yeah. Was that UCLA versus Arizona?
That was
Arizona?
every sports fan. Hey, so they're good. Here we are. So 6 months of, hey, they're going to be in the 9. Nah, they're probably going to fall to 10. No, they're going to get to the 9. Here you are. And then not until the very last day of the season does all this stuff sort itself out. And they're in the 8, playing the team that they just played yesterday, tomorrow, a team that they've smashed a couple of times in, the in-season tournament, which, I guess is something. And then yesterday, with a whole bunch of stuff up in the air, they just absolutely steamroll a pretty good Pelicans team. And here we are 6 months later and a chance to advance to, the Denver Nuggets are waiting.
By the way, that's what I was going to get to. Can I just say that was incredible yesterday, period. 10
There's a lot
a.m.
going on.
10 a.m. all Eastern Conference games, 12:30 all Western Conference games, and everybody it felt like had something to play for. The only two teams you could look in the West, I think Clippers and the Mavs were the only ones that were just basically locked in. Everybody else had something to play for. And coming into that game, doing the pregame with Michael, I'm like, Michael, you want me to lay out all the scenarios? He's like, no, I'm going to have a migraine by the time I figure it out.
Well, you need like an advanced degree in physics or
He's
logistics or something. I don't know.
He's right. And then I thought this was cool yesterday. Spectrum was doing this. ESPN was doing this while your game was going on. It kind of reminds me of the NFL here. We're kind of taking a similar model. While the games were going on, hey, let me show you real quick what this score is, which affects this game. Let me show you real quick what's going on in this game. And I think what you said, 82 games, in the 82nd game, we're not sure what's going to happen, where the Lakers are going to be, and they slot out at the number 8 spot. And because while that game was going on, Minnesota and Phoenix moved Denver up to number 2.
Right.
Which now means, depending on what happens tomorrow, Lakers, through all this, could end up potentially with the Nuggets again.
Oklahoma City finishes with the number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
By the
Denver
way,
finishes
the
at number 2.
youngest team in the NBA
I know, it's
with
weird.
57 wins.
Well, here's the crazy thing. 57 wins, number 1 seed. I'm not scared of that team.
I know.
And that's what's so weird. Like, I would be begging to play them instead of the Nuggets.
It's fair. You're 100% right. And you know what? If they played, let me use as an example. Let's say they got.
They're going to play the Pelicans, the Lakers, the Kings, or the Warriors.
If they got any of those teams other than the Lakers, those are good matchups.
Yeah.
They are. The problem is the Lakers is just a nightmare matchup for them, and your feeling of saying, yeah, I'll take them. They're a team that has no experience in the playoffs, but I still give them a ton of credit. 57 wins for a
2
team
years
that's not
ago,
even supposed to be here.
They were 40 games out of first place
I know.
2 years ago.
It's crazy how quickly they turned this thing around. How much better Shea has gotten.
But you're not
over a
wrong.
period of time.
I want to play there.
It's one of those. It's put it to you this way. This is how much more favorable of a matchup it is for the Lakers to be the 8th seed than it is to be the 7th seed.
Mm-hmm.
The 7th seed, with the Denver Nuggets waiting at the 2, has people asking the following question. Should the Lakers lose on purpose in this one so they can go into the next one at home and then they can go play Oklahoma City? That's how much better of a matchup that other one is. Because of course they're not going to try to lose. Of course they're not going to rest their guys. That you do not stick your thumb in the eye of the sports gods with we'll just trick this one off on purpose because we're pretty sure we're going to win the other one.
And that's a one-game playoff against two teams that can beat you on one night.
It just doesn't make any sense. I understand the impulse. You'd much rather play OKC than Denver. OKC is a much more beatable team than Denver is. The Lakers are a much better matchup against OKC than Denver. but you just hammered the Pelicans yesterday in the Pelicans barn. You get a chance to do it to them again tomorrow. You didn't even have to get on the road.
No,
you're going to be
stay
pretty
there.
well
Yep.
rested. You're going to be ready to go. That's a bad matchup for the Pelicans. All of these things. Go win the game. Take your chance with the Nuggets. All of this trying to slot for that just brings on all sorts of terrible scenarios. As much as it makes sense, it's a terrible idea.
Well, and listen, I don't think this is going to happen, but it can happen. New Orleans was awful yesterday, and to be honest with you, I don't even think it was their fault. I think the Lakers were just
they ran them over.
Unbelievable yesterday.
Came out the gate. Firing.
Came out the
Yep.
gate, and it was one of those games too where you just kind of knew within the first couple of minutes. It's like, yeah, it's not a good matchup. That's not a good matchup.
What did LeBron have? 15 assists at half?
13 assists at halftime. LeBron guarding Zion, which means basically arguably the best defensive player in the NBA, doesn't have to guard anybody. He could just sit in the paint and just like, all right, well, I'm here if you guys need me. Not a random dude. It's not D'Angelo Russell sitting there. It's Anthony Davis sitting there. But I think if this happens tomorrow, then it happens. Let's just say hypothetically, New Orleans played their best game of the year. They were bad yesterday. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. They're going to have to completely change the game plan.
And they're not ready for stuff like this the way that the Lakers are. Like, I get that Darvin Ham's not a great coach, but Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they're not going to be scared. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to show up. Anthony Davis may play bad because sometimes he plays bad, but but they've been through this 100 times. Even Austin Reeves and like the weight of being on the Lakers, every night is a big deal when you're on the Lakers. These guys are, they're going to be, you're not about that yet. At least not yet.
Again, I go back to it too. And if this happens.
Hello?
Who's there?
Anybody home?
Who's there?
Who are we calling? We're reaching out to some
We're
folks?
actually going to call. We're going to call callers. Callers are not calling us today.
Just started dialing numbers at random.
Let's start with the 949 number. Let's just go.
Let's go.
What I was going to say is hypothetically, if tomorrow's one of those games where the Lakers don't play well, D'Lo struggles from the field, Reeves didn't hit all his shots. By the way, that can happen. I've seen enough Lakers basketball that can happen. And the Pelicans just have a really good game. And you lost by 3 points to New Orleans, and it was just tip your cap. That was a good game for New Orleans. Okay. Then now go take your chances with that final game. And it won't be doomsday if, let's say Denver was number one. Let's say Denver was the 1 seed. I think then we'd be sitting here much more frustrated.
Yes.
But if tomorrow you do everything you can to try to win that game and you just naturally lose, then you naturally lose.
Yeah, exactly. If you go in there and you don't play well, and look, let's say
you gave yourself 2 chances.
Let's say you fall behind by 20 points halfway through the third quarter. Maybe you make a decision there. Like, listen, we did get to 8. We did give ourselves the benefit of having a bad night and still having a chance to get into the playoffs. And oh, by the way, the 1 is probably a better opponent. It's
one
not
game
a
away from the Thunder.
Where if Thunder were in the 2 and the Nuggets were at the 1.
Sure, then it's a catastrophe.
You got to get everything done on Tuesday. You have to get it done. Here's what's so weird to me, and I think we don't talk about it a ton on our show, a little bit when we do our picks during football season. But I'm not a real look at the spread guy a ton. I don't gamble a ton on things like this. But for whatever reason, I'm looking at it. Jumped off the page of me. The New Orleans Pelicans are favored in tomorrow night's game.
What?
They're favored by 1.5 points. It's a very small spread, but they're favored
Makes
by
no
1.5.
sense.
Lakers are a
Doesn't
public
make any
team,
sense.
which means typically they're going to get
the betting
a line to try to get people to jump on them. So maybe a little bit is happening there, but they've absolutely pounded the Pelicans the 2 times that this game has mattered. And LeBron James and AD are the 2 of the 4 or 5 best players on that court.
I don't know. I don't
it.
know about your timing of mentioning this right now as we're sitting here. The score is 91-59 on the TV, and you just told me that the Pelicans are a 1.5 point favorite for tomorrow's game. They played yesterday. The current score is Lakers up 32.
Yeah,
and the Pelicans are a 1.5 point favorite for tomorrow. I know Vegas and every one of these betting and all that, they know what they're doing.
There's sometimes you'll see a line, you're like, oh, that's free money. Just go pick it up.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those companies are, come do that. But why? How is that? If you'd have told me Lakers are 7.5 point favorites, I would not. I wouldn't have blinked for
Yeah.
6.5 point favorites. I'd be like, okay, that
Hey, here's
makes
my
sense.
20. Who wants to get in? Who wants to get in on it?
I don't see 20, bro. I see.
That's a bunch of singles.
That looks like
Don't
3.
ask why I have
It
singles.
looks like 3.
I pulled out 84 singles.
It was, yeah.
But-
it's so much of a stay away. It seems so obvious that it's like there's a part of this that I don't understand that very smart math guys do understand. Those casinos and sports books, they don't exist because they're idiots.
What the hell's going on here?
I don't know, but it's a little bit.
Is
it's a
it
little
because
bit
they think they
upsetting.
might, tank it? Is that the only thing in my mind? Because again,
It makes
judging
me,
by yesterday,
it makes me think more that they think something because I don't understand the line.
okay, were Pelicans? Did they need to win yesterday? Did they have to? Would they have moved up? Would they have moved
They
down?
locked up 6. They're
Okay.
not in the playing tournament if they win
Okay.
yesterday.
They were
Oh,
playing
no,
for
they
something.
were absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they were in a. They put themselves. They had won 4 straight games on the road and gave
Right.
themselves a chance. We win 1 game at home. We avoid the playing tournament.
So how in the world would bookmakers
I don't know.
say yesterday's result was a massive blowout and then
Can
Tuesday
I-
they're favored?
Can I call out?
This
middle,
is how weird the line was. When
Yeah.
I saw it this morning and I told you, I saw you immediately go check it because you didn't believe me. Emily did the same thing. Like, I think Trav's reading the line wrong.
Yeah.
And you guys
I'm
went
like,
and
I think
looked. You're
it's
like, oh my gosh, it
15.
really is
I
one
think
and a
it's
half.
15. I don't think it's 1.5.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is. I'm going to call out every Middle Eastern person out there because I feel like this happens everywhere I go when I'm talking sports to Middle Eastern people.
Yeah.
They're always like, "It's Vegas, bro. It's Vegas." Like they're
Is it always bro?
Yeah. They're always basically saying that there's a conspiracy going on and it's because of Vegas. This is where I agree with them right now. This is the first time in my life.
weird line.
I agree with every Middle Eastern person.
It
This is Vegas.
It is a weird line. We're going to talk about Slee's Masters problems. By the way, I didn't do much better than you did either, and I do watch golf. So you were at least the smart enough to get paid along the way. Talk about the Dodgers losing 2 out of 3 to the San Diego Padres. Jerks and Profar getting a little poetic justice last night against them, and maybe don't walk 14 guys. Just seems like pretty. I mean, I don't know a lot about baseball, but I feel like that
might be a problem.
That's a pretty high number. But coming up next, we're going to talk with the president and CEO of the LA 84 Foundation, Renata Simrel, joins us next. It's coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
ESPN.
All right, Dodgers and Pods coming up in a little bit. Slee's very, very lucrative weekend in the Masters pool coming up as well. But right now, very happy to talk to Renata Simrel, who is the president and CEO of the LA 84 Foundation. They have their Play Equity Summit coming up on Wednesday, right across the way here at LA Live. Renata, it's good to talk to you again. You and I, we figured we've spoken to each other one other time. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it is. It's been a while. I think that was pre-COVID.
Or
maybe
before.
right at COVID.
I think it was within a week, one way or the other, for sure.
That's good to see you again.
Good to see you. So, we were talking a little bit during the break, and I was kind of sharing you some of the memories that I have of being a kid in Los Angeles in 1984. I was 13 years old, and the Olympics were coming to town, and it was awesome. And all of the things, and I remember the street signs on the freeway telling you that, okay, they're doing archery over here, they're doing basketball over here. It was just a really cool moment. And then, of course, you have the LA 84 Foundation that came out of this that has allowed all of these different parts of our community and the kids in the community to have access to things through sports that probably they would not have had the Olympics not come through.
100%. And we're celebrating 40 years.
Crazy.
Of the 1984 Olympic Games.
Congratulations.
Isn't that crazy? Thank you. Thank you. The legacy that has left from, this extraordinary moment in Olympic history, the most financially successful games in the history of the Olympic movement still to this day. The Olympic Games in 1984 made $232.5 million.
Wow.
And we are the beneficiaries about 40% of that surplus. And for 4 decades, we've been investing in nonprofit organizations, fields of play, soccer pitches, swim pools, research, and the convening, like the summit, to make sure that all kids have access to what we know to be the transformational power sport, play, and movement. It's been just an extraordinary journey, and this is our opportunity to celebrate that impact.
I was joking around with Travis about this. I grew up down in San Diego, and youth sports was everything. I worked at a recreation center for years, and I know the unbelievable impact that it can have on a kid to know that, all right, when I'm done with school, here's a place that I can go hang out for X amount of hours. I can pay $15 and I'm in a flag football program, and I'm going to be there every single week, twice a week, whatever the case is. Can you just talk about, in your own personal experience, how some of those youth sports, how it does kind of take a kid and all of a sudden it paints, gives them maybe an opportunity or opens up their mind around something that's sports related?
100%. I'm one of those kids. I went to school because I played basketball and tennis. Just had struggles in my family. My brother was pulled into the gang life, and for me, sports helped this, awkward middle school mixed race kid find her voice and find her tribe. It was everything to me. The resiliency, the teamwork, the friendships, the camaraderie, the joy, the perseverance that I developed through sports is a key contributor to why I'm running the legacy of the 1984 Olympic Games, no doubt about that. And that is what we're trying to do with our work. And the summit this week celebrates the power of sport to help kids bridge divide and bridge division. And so I'd encourage anyone and everyone who wants to help young kids thrive through sports, la84.org, come on out, get involved in our work, because we are doubling down at this mark of our 40th anniversary for the next 40 years to do what we call is closing the play equity gap.
Renata Simrel, she is the president and CEO of the LA 84 Foundation. You mentioned, what would you say, $285 million surplus?
232.
232.
Yeah.
I know everybody's been chasing it ever since, because I remember when the idea was floated back in 84 about, look, we're going to have corporate sponsors. We're going to have all of these different ways to generate money, not just spend money, and that incredible amount of money that was generated and distributed to foundations like LA 84. Did that change it for all Olympics moving forward? Has anybody been able to duplicate what LA did in 84 and create that model?
Well, LA was the first to privately finance the games. So we we're starting out where there was no expectation. So a lot of the innovations that Peter Uberoff and Paul Zifrin and the executive committee of the organizing, Harry Usher, the sponsorship model, exclusive television rights model, the torch relay raised $10 million. Mm-hmm. Peter had this notion to sell a kilometer of each leg of the race, and nonprofits could then use that as a fundraiser. And that innovation raised $10 million to help finance the games. And so LA was a very different, time. The world was really different. Sports was different. But it did really set the mark of the International Olympic Committee. They've taken a lot of those innovations and put them within the IOC, and then they do a revenue share with every games, post 1984. But it's expensive to put on an Olympic Games. I think LA 28, is $9 million, $8 million, something billion. I'm sorry, $7-8 billion. And so I think LA will once again, with the third year, I think are well on their way to hopefully eclipse what we did in 1984.
What's the hope for what you guys have accomplished? You mentioned 40-year anniversary. What's the hope over the next 5 years, 10 years with the foundation? Just curious what some of the vision is.
Yeah, I alluded to it earlier, and you were talking about down in San Diego being able to spend $15 and be in a football program or a club team. That doesn't exist today. A lot of young people are left on the sidelines or out of the game completely for whatever barriers, economic barriers, gender barriers. And the foundation about 5 years ago started a charitable arm called the Play Equity Fund. And that is where we are deepening our commitment and our impact to addressing the systems issues and barriers that are preventing young kids from engaging in sports. And so one of the things we're most proud of is we work with Senator Josh Newman, state senator, to help him pass a recess bill. Recess isn't a mandate within public schools in the state of California, and many educators use it as discipline. They'll take it away from kids. My son has ADHD. Recess is where he needs to let off that steam, where he needs to, work on his self-regulation and his, just breath work or whatever the case may be to calm his nerves. And so those are the types of things that we're going to be approaching over the next 5 years. PE is an unfunded mandate. Most schools have PE 1 to 2 days a week. The obesity rate in LAUSD is 45%.
Wow.
Type 2 diabetes, young kids are at risk for. So when you don't have recess, when you don't have PE, when you don't have after-school sports, that's where we're going to be putting our efforts, both the L84 Foundation and our charitable arm, the Play Equity Fund, to really make sure we're leveling the playing field so all young kids can experience sport.
That ability to level the playing field, Renata, and we're speaking with Renata Simmerl. She's the president and CEO of the LA84 Foundation, and I'm going to put on my parent hat here for a second. I've got 3 kids of my own. They're mostly grown at this point. My youngest is a senior in high school. They've always participated in athletics, and not because we were trying to create the next Clayton Kershaw or Caitlin Clark, but hey, you need to go learn how to be a member of a team. You need to go learn how to have a bad coach. You need to go how to learn how to do all of these things, and to not have access to just playing, being on a team, wearing a uniform, learning how to get along, learning how to solve a conflict. All of these things you accomplish through sports. It's not the only place, but it's one of the better places, in my opinion, to learn these things in a very natural environment. And that this promotes access for people to be able to do that is very exciting.
100%. Resiliency and perseverance. Those are things that, I find in my own experience, if it wasn't for sports, I wouldn't have been able to make it through basic training. I went to the military before I went to college.
Which branch of the military?
Army.
Okay.
U.S. Army. Go Army. But just, the physical and the mental, aspects of basic training, sports, and being able to just overcome those obstacles. And certainly coming out of COVID, I know we're fully a year out of COVID, but a lot of kids didn't have that, and I think trying to get back those life skills is so important. And so the work that we do and what we're celebrating on Wednesday at the Play Equity Summit is the power of organizations across the country, not just L84 Foundation and the Play Equity Fund, but there's the Seattle, King County Play Equity Coalition in Seattle. There's the Philadelphia Youth Sports Collaborative, Laria Sports for Good. And so, Wednesday's summit is bringing together the nation's organizations that are focused on leveling the playing field, closing the play equity gap, to celebrate the work that we've done and to really have an opportunity for people to see where they can get involved to help us help all kids play.
Final one from me. So just somebody listening right now, they're in their car listening on the app, and they want to somehow find a way to get involved. Is there a way that just regular people here in Los Angeles can get involved, help in any way, whether that's monetarily or anything else?
Yeah, I'd say 3 things, maybe 4 things. One is follow us on our social media, so at L84 Foundation. I'll throw a pitch for me, at Renata Angelino. Two is you log onto our website, la84.org, and find out how you can get involved. Our newsletter, stay involved and up to date. We have volunteer opportunities. We have events that come up. Three is come to our events. Our summit is on Wednesday at JW Marriott. We also have a play day on June 29th. We're celebrating. We're trying to create a play day for Earth Day, if you will. We're having a huge block party at our campus. We're closing Adams Boulevard in Gramercy. It's cool. Free, open to the public. It's a way for us to celebrate our 40th anniversary with our community. And then the fourth is, to be able to help all kids play, it takes resources. And so for those who, have the ability, log on to la84.org and, make a contribution. But more importantly, it's about paying attention. It's about being involved with kids within your community, either your own kids or other kids. So coach, volunteer. Just think about the millions of kids who are left out of the game or on the sidelines and find a way that you can get involved. And we'll certainly help you do that.
Renata, one last one before we let you go. Appreciate your time. You mentioned that you played basketball and tennis in school. I need your opinion on what you've seen Caitlin Clark do and what she's done for the sport of women's basketball over the last couple of years.
Nothing short of extraordinary. To watch her and her offense and the shots that she took is just incredible. I think this is the next 2 decades. The future of sports is women's sports, without question. We helped Angel City Football Club and what Julie Ehrman and Kara Nortman and Natalie Portman are doing with Angel City Football Club just in their 3rd season is extraordinary. What Caitlin Clark is doing for the NCAA and now the WNBA as she comes in. But then there's also like Dawn Stately.
Sure.
I mean, in her record, she had an entire starting 5, and here she is, an undefeated season to win the national championship.
Crazy.
So I think, certainly Caitlin Clark to lift her up, but there's so many women that are being recognized for the innovations and the excellence that they're bringing to women's sports in general, and I'm just excited about the future of women's sports.
The LA84 Play Equity Summit is taking place this Wednesday right across the street here at LA Live. You can register at la84.org. That's Renata Simrel, President and CEO of LA84 Foundation. Renata, it's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for having me.
You got it. You got it for sure. Anthony Davis and LeBron played all season. We're good? That's just what we're going to do now moving forward? All right. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
I think you just might have jinxed them.
The LA
All right, kids, we're going to show you something here, okay? And parents too, for that matter. Here's your toothbrush. Here's Mr. Green, our dino here, who will be our example. And I'm going to sing to you how this works, because parents don't realize when you're brushing teeth, it's got to be in a circle, okay? So like this. The wheels on the brush go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the brush go round and round, all through my mouth.
Worth it if you enjoy it. You know what you're going to enjoy tomorrow? A little Sedano and Cap in the AM. That's right. A Lakers play-in Tuesday begins with Unsportsmanlike until 7 a.m. And then Sedano and Cap live and local in your morning, 7 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Of course, on 710, on the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube. Plus, Corporate Greg will be there. Myself, fun and frivolity, hijinks, and getting you ready for the Lakers 7-8 play-in game against the Pelicans. That's tomorrow at 7 a.m. Don't miss it. And that means there's a super crosstalk at around 9:50 with Travis Slee in Shitano and Cappy. Tomorrow, right here on 710 ESPN. Right now, more of the Travis and Sliwa Show. Your Monday.
So you remember when Renata said she was a basketball player?
Yep.
Not that I didn't believe her. I, of course, believed her. But then she's over there taking shots at Pop-A-Shot, and I think I saw her make like 11 in a row. So, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when you hit a shot and it's so clean, the net gets caught.
Yeah, it snaps up on itself.
Both nets were caught over there. Both nets were
She
caught.
got it knocked out. That was fun. That was good. I'm looking forward to the Olympics coming up in 2028. I remember what it was like through here the first time. I hope they can recapture some of the same magic. I don't know if the Olympics occupies the same place in our minds the way it did 40 years ago. I think that's changed pretty significantly. But having it in your backyard it's like nothing else.
Still pretty cool.
It's pretty darn cool, and it really is the only thing that's like right here in front of your face for the better part of a month. It's just right there.
I was walking the Strand the other day from Manhattan Beach to Hermosa Beach, and I was like, this is probably where they're going to play these Olympic beach volleyball games and stuff.
Yeah,
Because I've seen occasionally them do like big volleyball tournaments, but it's becoming real. This is actually going to happen in a couple of years.
It's coming fast. It is coming fast. I was listening to Casey Wasserman on a podcast the other day. He's kind of in charge of putting the whole thing together. And he was talking about how it's like putting on 9 Super Bowls a day for 2 weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
and when it lands, I was like, yeah, I guess it kind of is. That just because it's all happening at the same time. Sure. It's not like one, okay, catch your breath. Put all your experts that do this, we're going to move them over to the pool. No, you got the pool going. You got the gym going. You got the track. It's like all going at the same time. Just crazy.
We should organize everything.
Speaking of the walk that you went on, yeah, they don't need that. DeMarco inspired me.
Nice.
So when we were here on Friday and I was teetering,
Yep.
right? I'm like, I don't know. Now, he didn't fully inspire me. He partially inspired me.
By the way, he was like McVay when it
was good.
When he started going off. He's like, I love when I don't want to do something. I'm like, okay.
So I got home. Michael had a game at the high school, and I'm like, you know what? Just put your shoes on and go.
Okay.
And I kind of listened to Mom, and I did. And I put my shoes on, and I walked to the game.
Got the hell out
4.5 miles. Got my little walk in there. Got up Saturday morning, knocked out another one. Ask me where I ended up.
At the bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What'd you order?
I had a michelada and
Picture.
some wings.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, like onion rings and
No, just michelada.
cheeseburger
And in my defense, I split an order of wings with my pal G-Fish. Okay?
okay.
How many wings?
12?
I had 8, he had 4.
So 12. Okay.
Because he
You
left
didn't
2.
split it.
He
So
left,
you didn't split it with him.
Well, we split it 2/3, 1/3. I didn't say it was an even split. I just said we split it.
Yeah,
Because he left, I ate my 6, and then there's 2 more sitting in the basket. I'm looking at him like,
No, there's no.
dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
He's
2
like,
don't
"What?"
remain.
I'm like, you're not going to eat those? He goes, no, I don't want them. I'm like, well, then I certainly am going to eat them. So did that.
That's not bad.
Not bad, but then Susan and I went out to dinner on Saturday night.
What'd you eat?
I had Cioppino. Okay?
Okay.
Is this when you took the martini to the streets?
No, that was Friday night.
Oh, okay.
I
So,
wasn't gonna bring that up.
so I took the martini to the streets on Friday night. Then went Saturday, went for a long walk, ended up at the bar, got wings and micheladas. Then on Sunday, guess what I did, Slee?
Probably went back to some kind of bar and had
Got
some
up,
kind of
took a
drink.
nice long walk, and ended up at the bar. And guess what I had?
A martini.
More micheladas, and this time I had what did I get yesterday? Oh, I had a poke
Modelo?
bowl. I had a poke bowl. It was good. But when you're doing all
That's
these
more
things while
alcohol.
drinking, it kind of defeats
That's more
the purpose.
alcohol
doesn't
than
defeat
I
the
feel
purpose.
like you've had in a while.
It was too much.
It evens the score. It evens it out. Okay,
No,
it's better
I
than doing
lost.
nothing.
I lost.
Okay,
I like
no.
the text.
Yeah.
We do it different down here in South Coast.
Yeah, okay. Let's just describe this photo. It's just him having a martini glass, which is just his usual picture that he sends. It's either that or fish. And then it's just, in the background is a parking lot. And I was like, why do you bring a martini to the streets?
Well, okay. So I took the picture. We went to remember the place we used to go to all the time?
Yeah.
Right? Our regular stand in front.
Henri.
With Henri. We went back. Hadn't been there in a while. So we went back. It was crowded. I was very happy to see it was crowded because I was a little worried about the place for half a second. Anyway, it was crowded, so we had to wait for half a minute. Right? So they're like, hey, can we bring you guys a drink? I'm like, sounds great. I ordered my martini. We were standing outside when they brought it to me.
Yeah.
So, and then when I took the picture, I'm
Go
like,
stand next to the parking lot, stall 4.
but that's
You're
kind of
like,
where the front door
okay.
of the restaurant. It's in a strip mall.
Yeah.
So the restaurant front door with they have a little patio there, but it's literally facing the parking lot. So I took it and I looked at it. I'm like, that's not a great picture. And I'm like, I'm gonna send it
anyway.
I'm gonna send it
Emily
anyway.
will make a comment
and
about
it
it
took
somehow.
Emily half a second. Like, are you drinking that in the parking lot? Well,
It's just like a parking meter guy behind him handing out tickets.
Well, I thought it was like Bourbon Street where you just take your martini to the streets.
I was technically standing on the restaurant's patio, but it's a very small patio and very
Speaking
parking
of,
lot
let's
adjacent.
throw this out there. Parking meter guys or girls. That's a tough job.
No, thank you.
That's a tough job. So across the street, there's a shopping center as well where we live in Pasadena.
Okay.
And basically never a problem. You could park there and you could park as long as you want. It's usually hour
Without
and a half
feeding the
limit.
meter?
Without it's a full lot. So you'll have to go to one of those parking, you print out the ticket,
Yeah.
do that and put it on your dashboard. Not an issue. So
Even if the ticket's expired.
I'm talking I'm talking it hasn't been a problem for a couple of years, never been an issue. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't know if there's way too many people parking there. But they are hawks now, and there's a parking meter guy everywhere handing out tickets. And because this is across the street, I'm kind of watching every interaction. If I'm sitting there on my laptop working, I'm facing the window and I'm facing that parking lot. I'm watching the interaction of every person who gets a ticket trying to explain to the parking person, like,
Oh, there's an actual attendant there?
they're there. Let's say every 2 hours they come back, so they're
the
tagging your car.
meter maid.
They're tagging your car, and then they're coming back, and now they're just printing out tickets.
Got it.
Those
To the Hawks now. So
That's more of a peacock. A hawk is. I can't do
I'm
it.
going to use that. They're no longer hawks.
They're
now
peacocks.
peacocks. They're now peacocks. Bro, that interaction between
Sounds sick.
It's the worst interaction.
Yeah, it's not great.
I feel so bad for the parking
Yeah.
person.
Because here's the thing. I do
Because
too.
everybody's sitting there like, I can't believe you gave me a ticket. I was only a half hour late. This guy's like, I'm just doing my damn job.
That's the problem. I'm only a half hour late. Well, how much
doesn't
time
own
am
the
I
lot.
supposed to give you?
Yeah.
Right? I get it. If you're standing there watching the meter going 3, 2, 1, and you see a guy sprinting at it. Like,
Yeah.
cut that
That'd be
guy
awesome.
some slack.
That
But
would be
I
awesome.
only missed it by a half hour. Yeah, you missed it by a mile, buddy.
Yeah, that's the worst thing because like when you
Yeah.
get tickets and you know you did something wrong, it's like you want to have all these excuses, but it's like it's just what happens.
I'm not giving the ticket out if I'm that person, if I'm the parking meter person. I'm not. I have to look around, make sure I don't see anybody. I'm sliding that ticket quick, and I'm like, I'm keeping it moving.
It was funny you bringing this up.
80 negotiations.
I had a nightmare that I had a car. My car was just covered in tickets the other night. Like 2 nights
Okay,
ago,
let
I had a
me-
nightmare.
Let me ask the question then.
What?
Do you have unpaid tickets?
No,
then well, okay.
I've only gotten I think I gotten 2 tickets since I've been in Los
I thought
Angeles.
you had like a glove compartment full of them that was weighing on your
and
conscience.
I pay them right away because I have just this fear that something will happen and I'll get whatever.
Then
But
charge
the
more
reason
and-
why is because this girl on TikTok has been going off, and this is about Philadelphia's parking department. Okay, so I used to park in Philadelphia when I go into the city occasionally, and they are pretty aggressive with their ticketing. This person had this whole story, and she documented it with receipts and everything on this TikTok story about how she parked and she paid the full thing. You can do it online, like one of those parking mobile apps, and then your car is attached to it. Less than 5 minutes after she went in to go to her hot yoga class, they give her a ticket, even though she is paid for that on the app. And so she went off at the Philadelphia parking department. So that is also my mind.
I fought one for the street sweeper. Right in front where I live, there's no signs, there's nothing. So I fight it, right?
Okay.
They send me a picture. You know where the sign is?
All
at
the way
the
at
beginning
the
of the street,
Yeah, that's
covered
not
by
right.
a branch.
That's not right. Okay, you can't do anything about
I can't
that.
because the sign is there.
Well, you got to go be a tree trimmer every day before you
what I'm
park your
saying.
car and make sure everything's
This-
supposed to be there.
Can we just like a few signs there, just so everybody
More
knows.
than one.
Yeah, a few signs there.
And I also love
And street
people.
sweeping's like Tuesday from 3 to 6 or 4 to 6
Talk about
or
parking
something.
signs. How many parking signs in one pole? That's confusing.
Exactly.
Parking
Oh, big time.
between 9 and 3.
You need to be a code
Only on
breaker to
Tuesday.
understand
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
can park your car and when you can't.
There's actually another TikTok account that literally breaks down LA parking signs of
a good idea.
what day you can park at this
Yeah.
specific spot, and it's insane.
No thanks. No
Maybe
thanks.
just park here, don't park here.
I know.
Let's just do
yes
that.
or no. Yes or leave the street
I like
gutter
that
filled
sign.
with
Park here, don't park
Yeah.
here. I would like to see those.
Especially Pasadena. Some of these
but-
streets you need a permit to park in Pasadena.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
It's
west side
crazy.
of LA
Yep.
is crazy like that too. You
My
need
street,
a
too.
little sticker. Your street need a sticker?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the way that it goes. Anthony Davis, great season. Little bit shaky down the end there as far as the health goes. That's coming up at 11 o'clock. But coming up next, Ask Slee. Send them on in. 877-710. ESPN is the phone number. 877-710-3776. Ask Slee's next. Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Speaking of cars, and more specifically trucks, my Rotolo Chevrolet, no parking tickets. It's because it's always perched majestically. So people are they're in awe when they
They
gaze
just
upon
write a
it.
note like, "Hey,
That looks
beautiful
great.
truck."
That looks great. Did you get that at Rotolo Chevrolet? And I come out and say, of course I did. Where else would I have gotten this beautiful Silverado if not at Rotolo Chevrolet? Speaking of Rotolo Chevrolet, my pals at Rotolo Chevrolet hooked us up with Orel Hershiser coming up at around noon today. So you got that to look forward to. But if you've been thinking Silverado, you've been thinking Chevy cars or trucks, why not go to Rotolo Chevrolet? Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit. Can't miss it. They got everything that you could want at the prices that you want. But what they have is customer service that you will never forget. This is why they've won Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. This is why they take care of everybody every day. So you tell your friends and they tell theirs and they win another Dealer of the Year award. Transparent, courteous, upfront. That's what they do at Rotolo Chevrolet. If you can't get in, go online, rotolochevy.com. That's ROTOLO, rotolochevy.com. And make sure you tell them that Travis sent you.
A fun way to drive home is with Sedano and
777-710 ESPN. That's the number if you want to do a Ask Slee on the phone, like this man right here, Danny in Boyle Heights. Danny, what do you got for Al?
What's up, guys?
Hey, Danny.
So my question to ask Lee is, my neighbor a couple houses down, he has this big giant snowman, and I'm like, it's April, bro. Like, can we take this down already? So do I go and approach him? Do I? It's being supported by ropes. Do I cut the ropes late at night so it could fall down? What do I do?
All right, well, Danny, I appreciate you watching that unfold and say, I got to ask Slee what he would do in this situation. So that part is great. This is a little bit of a tough one
Was that a
because
snowman?
It's almost May.
at what point is he getting around the corner to where the neighbor is saying, well, I might as well just leave it up now because I'm already...
Well, I mean, if we're getting
August?
specific, no, it's like June 25th is the halfway point, right? 6 months after Christmas.
Yeah,
I mean, at least you're closer to than further away from.
I got to be honest. I don't think you could do anything. What are you going to do? When are you going to go knock on the door and say, hey, when I drive by, I see you still have a snowman out that should have been taken down months ago and it's still not taken down. What are you supposed to say to this guy? Or are you going to go on some illegal operation in the middle of the night and try to go take this thing down? I don't think that's worth it.
You have one of two choices. I think what Al suggested, just knock on the door and say, hey, I hate to be this guy, but it's May, bro.
He has this big giant snowman.
It's almost May. Can we get Frosty down until we get past Thanksgiving again?
If it was Christmas music still going on like you had across the street from your house, that's a different story. If this is just a snowman
slide him a
sitting
note.
there.
Just like, hey, you need any help taking the snowman down? I'm happy to help you. Just let me know. Otherwise, you got to look at it.
How do you still plug it in? And then I just don't understand that. Like, how does this man inflate the snowman every night?
Maybe his kids like it. I don't know. Maybe it needs to come down. That's for sure.
Just pop it.
Francis in
Give it a
Glendale.
little cut.
I love this one. Why didn't you? This is hashtag Ask Slee. Why didn't you ask Renata if she could beat you in a corner three shooting contest?
Because I already knew the answer. I already saw her form. Already saw her footwork. I'm not messing with that.
No.
She looks like she's hitting 53% from a corner three.
She looked like she knew what she was doing. Yeah. We should have had at least you take her on in corner threes on the Papa Shot equivalent. We'd have to take the net down.
Play horse.
Yeah, it was so horse or something.
Okay, so this one's from Daniel. This one's from Jesus Hakis, and Jesus asks, Ireland famously hates Pulp Fiction, and I also hate Pulp Fiction. Emily does. So is there a classic movie that you hate or just don't get?
Frosty the Snowman.
Classic movie that I hate. Nothing actually jumps out on me.
Well, just don't get the hype. You're like, why is everyone so excited about this thing? Star Wars? I don't know if you're a Star Wars person, but I know there's a lot of people that love it and you don't get it.
That's more down my realm. The Star Wars, I've never been a Star Wars person. Never watched it when I was a kid. Never understood what the hell was going on. Never understood the hype around it even to today. I don't. People that swear by Star Wars.
Have you seen them?
I might have watched one when I was a kid.
And it just didn't grab you?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem. I don't mind. Like, if somebody told me today, hey, you should really go back, start with this one, I just don't think I'm going to be interested in it. I just don't think it captures me. Star Wars is a very good example because that's one where most people, I'm assuming, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It just didn't really do anything for
It's
me.
like, it's usually, most people's answers to this question is usually like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, some sort of fantasy
Twilight.
thing that Twilight.
Lord of the Rings,
Twilight's not
I
a great
saw-
classic movie.
Lord of the Rings I saw a
a
couple
movie.
times.
This is a question that said a classic movie, okay? Twilight is not a classic
It's a
movie.
saga.
Oh
my
It's
God,
horrible.
get outta here.
That was awesome.
For me, it was like I do
Double
like
Teamed.
Star Wars. Double Teamed, I haven't had the pleasure yet to form an opinion on it. I never saw Lord of the Rings. I just know that genre is not my cup of tea, so I kind of just skipped it. But one that typically I do like, it's a genre I like that is incredibly popular, and I will argue as long as anybody wants to argue about it. I think the movie sucks. It's just not good. The plot, no, it's about this. I'm telling you, if you watch the movie and take me through the structure of the plot, it's gibberish. Is Scarface. It's a terrible movie. Like, I get it. It's cool. He wears white suits and he's got a gun and he does a dumb bunch
hello
of
to
blow.
my little friend.
Right?
Yeah.
There's some funny lines. You know, my little friend, and Pelican, go Pelican. Like, I get it. There's some iconic scene. The movie is nonsense.
But I
it
think-
doesn't make any sense.
Isn't that the type of movie where you don't need it to be? You don't.
You're
need
right.
It, you don't need it to be a storyline.
It doesn't have to be, Citizen
It's
Kane.
more the
It doesn't have
mystique.
to be
It's
that.
more of the-
But it doesn't, like, if you just said, what happened here? The answer is, well, he becomes a drug dealer and he gets killed and does a lot of cocaine. Okay, but how did he get to that? None of it
He used to
makes
sell
any
toasters.
sense. That drives me crazy. Oh, Scarface is, it's Goodfellas and it's Casino and Scarface. Like, what? Stop.
No, there is levels. There is
even-
levels. It's not on that level, but I liked Scarface.
Ugh,
okay,
awful.
can I throw another one? I think, and I don't.
Sure.
You might be on the same one here. Fast and Furious. I don't know how people feel about it. I just know they keep making them.
The first two were cool.
I never saw one. I never saw any of them.
Susan likes him.
I never watched one
The first
of
two
the
were
Fast
cool.
and Furious series.
After that, it was just, come on.
I think there's sometimes like a difference between like there's like these big movies that are classics for like everybody's seen them, or at least everyone knows about them. And there's classics because these movies are supposed to be like the best movies of all time. And I've often watched them and I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, I don't
like
get it.
Jerry Maguire. I can't stand the Jerry Maguire movie.
Yeah, I get why you wouldn't. But that's, again, it's, I guess.
And
classic.
Top Gun for me. Top Gun.
Turn
What
off
are they
the mic.
after in
That's
the
it.
second one?
That's it.
You should use the drop that I put in today.
Oh, that's right.
All right.
All right, this one's from Capitano Matt. What household chore has Lady Slee banned you from doing because you do them wrong?
Oh, it's easy.
Ooh, good question.
Okay, so dishes. I kind of like doing dishes, so I'm okay with dishes, and she's okay. You know, there've been a couple times she's like, "Did you clean this pot?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did." She's like, "Okay, why don't you go ahead and go? Let's try again." Just because whatever it was, eggs, whatever, it still has some smell. Here's what I'm not good at. I'm not good at, and it's not that it's hard. It's just I'm not detail oriented when it comes to this. I'm neat. I'm not clean, if that makes sense. So if there are areas that need to be, it's like dusty a little bit, right? Just over time, you didn't move photos, this, that. I'm not good at that stuff. And also that stuff doesn't even really bother me. Like, for her, she's going 2 weeks and she's cleaning all that stuff. She can't do it. For me, I could sit there for 2 months and not care about that. I need everything neat. I don't necessarily need it clean. So that's something that she jumps in on.
Making the bed. Like, she has this...
I like the bed.
It's an insane level of detail that goes into making this bed. I'm like,
How many pillows?
It's not even the pillows. It's the sheets that she has. Like when the sheets go through the wash or whatever, and I almost always go to bed before she does. So I'll just make it before she's like, no, I'll go up. I'll do it myself. I'm like, I'm just going to pull the fitted one around the four corners,
All right.
lay it over the top. And it is the most specific. No, you're not doing it right. It's like, sheets on the bed. How do you do it wrong?
I got another one now.
Did you do like hospital corners? Or
Yes,
whatever?
it's insane.
How are you at folding clothes?
I'm pretty darn good.
I
told you
hate it.
I got a
I
compliment
hate
at the
it, bro.
laundromat.
I hate folding clothes, and she's just basically like, go take Rookie for a walk. Like, I'll go ahead and handle this.
Did I not tell you guys this? When
No,
I
I
went
think you have.
No,
At
you
least to
mentioned
me.
how much you love it at the...
when I was at the laundromat, this woman comes up, she goes, I just got to tell you, I was watching you fold these clothes. You do an amazing job. I'm like, well, thank you.
Oh, she was hitting on
Thank you. No, she was like 80.
Yeah, but I know, but she
I've
was
been hitting on you.
I guess she could have.
She was
but
hitting on you.
What about
I get
ironing? Do you
that.
like ironing?
I don't know how to do it. I mean, I know how to do it, but I stink at it.
No, I'm
Yeah.
awful at it.
I'm
I
also
love
pretty bad
doing
at
it.
it, but I just occasionally do it. I don't do it often.
I'm
but yeah.
awful
Just
at it.
run my hands over it a few more times so I get that last.
I do this.
wrinkle.
I just
Yeah,
like
a
hit it
snap
couple
or two,
times. Yeah, I'm like,
a
this
rub
shirt's
or
fine,
two.
right?
Lakers are the 8. They've got a very favorable matchup in the 7-8 and a very bad matchup after that. Do you mess around at all and think about getting cute? That's coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Speaking of having fun, Prize Picks, Lee.
Oh, yeah.
You and I are playing Prize Picks. We're 2 of 3 million people that are playing Prize Picks, largest daily fantasy platform in all of North America. And the why of it all is pretty simple to explain. It's fun, and you can win money. You pick between 2 and 6 players. You choose more or less on their statistical projections. You pick between, basketball, football, baseball, golf. You can do the Masters this week, and there's all sorts of things you could do. That's why you and I love Prize Picks.
Okay, how about this? This week is the playing round. So think about all the exciting games that are coming up here over the next 3-4 days. Playoffs are going to start on April 20th. Go to Prize Picks and start making your picks. I already looked. Lakers already got a couple players that are up, 24.5 points, more or less for Anthony Davis. CJ McCollum tomorrow, 23.5 points, more or less. Takes about 60 seconds to submit your entry. Like we've always talked about, it's incredibly fun. Download the app today. Use that code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code 710 on Prize Picks for a deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
I'm Tiffany.
This Michelob Ultra, Reaction Monday Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carb, 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. You know what you're going to enjoy tomorrow? A little Sedano and Cap in the AM. That's right. A Lakers play-in Tuesday begins with unsportsmanlike until 7 a.m. And then Sedano and Cap, live and local in your morning, 7 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Of course, on 710, on the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube. Plus, Corporate Greg will be there. Myself, fun and frivolity, hijinks, and getting you ready for the Lakers 7-8 play-in game against the Pelicans. That's tomorrow at 7 a.m. Don't miss it. And that means there's a super crosstalk at around 9:50 with Travis Lee in Shitano and Cappy. Tomorrow, right here on 710 ESPN. Right now, more of the Travis and Sliwa Show. Your Monday.
Okay. I'm a creature of habit, if nothing else, right? I come through that door within 5 minutes, give or take, at almost the same time every single day. My order of operations of my coffee and some other things, and when I get started and when I record my podcast and all these things, I'm bang, 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 bang. Tomorrow's going to throw me off. I'm just saying.
We're sandwiched.
Yeah.
We are going to do a super crosstalk.
2 of them.
We're walking into a super crosstalk.
Yes.
And then we're exiting on a super crosstalk.
Yeah. So I don't cap on live tomorrow morning, 7 to 10. Of course, the Lakers are playing early tomorrow afternoon.
I'll produce the 9 o'clock hour, so
okay.
Look out for that. That'll be interesting. I've never worked with both of them. I've worked separately with Sedano and with Cappy.
Okay.
Never both at the same time, so that'll be interesting.
This will be the first. This will be the first time we get to flip on Kaplan what he tries to do with holding people for a super crosstalk.
But see that it won't work. You're missing the most important part of that. He likes it.
So he would probably be here till like 11:30.
He'll probably do the whole show.
That's a good point.
And look, Cap, stay as
more than
long as
welcome.
you'd like.
More
Like
than welcome.
Sedano may be a little bit different. We'll see how that goes with him.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be packing up his stuff trying to get out. Like you and I at 112, we're like, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, that should be it.
That's enough. We should probably get
Do
down.
you think
to
we'll have the same energy in the morning? Will they be as
I think so.
Sedano and
Yeah,
Cappy?
I think so.
They will,
I
especially
think it
because
will.
it's such a unique day to be doing this.
Yeah,
So
it's
that will
lit.
definitely
It's
happen.
exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Before we get to the
yeah, that's
Lakers, I got a quick story for you guys, and it's lit too. So I told you I walked from my house to this bar that I like to go to in Dana Point.
Yep.
And so it's not
So
a long
funny.
walk.
So funny that every time I hear that, just like that amount of walking all to go get alcohol.
It's 5.7 miles. It's a good walk.
Gosh,
Okay?
that's
It's
long as hell.
mostly flat, but a little bit up and down at various points. And the end of it is uphill for about a mile. Okay, so it's
should have Ubered.
I was sweaty. I'm breathing pretty hard. I've got my sweaty baseball cap on. I've got a ratty UCSB sweatshirt on, and I'm coming through the back door of this place. And there's a gentleman sitting at the corner of the bar. And I'm sure you've experienced this too. I see him kind of double take on me, right? And I'm like, okay, doesn't happen a lot, but it happens enough to know when it's about to happen. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Travis. And I'm like, hey, man, what's up? And he goes, my name's John in San Clemente, and I love the Trav and Slee show. And I'm like, oh, awesome. So we chatted it up for a few minutes, and he's like, so you really are taking all of these walks? I'm like, yeah, for real. I looked like I'd just gotten hit by a car. I was tired. I was a little hungover, if I'm being honest. It was a mess. But John, thank you. He works, I think he said, an insurance company in San Clemente. But I always love it when the people tell us that they like our show.
You're good with writing the names down and everything.
Well, okay, since you bring that up,
okay.
I think it was John.
Might not have been?
I wrote it in my phone.
Because you could say, I would be...
Here's what happened.
I would be like, is it John or Raphael?
Here's what happened.
That's how randomized it would be.
Asked him his name, right? And I said, tell me, and okay, great. And I almost always at that point jot it down in my phone so I don't forget because I want to get it right. I ordered my drinks and all this other stuff. And by the time I'm like, oh, I didn't write it down, I turned back, he'd left.
He's gone.
He was gone. So I couldn't ask him again. Pretty sure it was John.
Okay.
John, good job.
Well, John or whatever
guy
your
at
name
the
is.
corner of the bar at the Point in San Clemente.
Thank you
You're
for
my
listening.
guy. You're
Thank
my
you for
guy.
listening.
Anthony Davis got knocked out of the game right towards the end.
Yeah, about 5 minutes left.
Didn't look like a big deal. He said it was a dangerous play, but he also went, as I learned, Nance isn't a dirty play. Kind of gave him a little shove in the back. It didn't look too bad to me. Yep. Here's the deal. Anthony Davis played in 76 games this season. It's the most he's ever played in his career. LeBron James played in 71 games this season. It's the most he's played for the Lakers since 17-18.
Incredible.
It's incredible. Let's stay with AD for a second.
Okay.
He played 76 games. If he can have a moment here in the postseason, and what I mean by that is either win tonight or win Friday, win tomorrow night or win Friday, depending on how you get into a series, and really start to assert your will on people in the place. In particular, if he can have a moment against Jokic, if that's in fact where they land, I think he can begin to rewrite his story to a certain point. To rewrite his story to I'm not the oft injured. People roll their eyes when I fall on the ground, and here we go again. Not unlike we had when he didn't play because he had a headache and an upset stomach the other day. Mm-hmm. Played 76 games. I went into the playoffs. I gave Jokic everything he could handle. In a perfect world, you beat him. Maybe you go on a run to begin to rewrite his story here in Los Angeles.
Can I tell you something? I felt like he was already on path to do that this year because let's just say 60 games in, it's like, wow, this guy's only missed 4 or 5 games or 3-4 games or whatever it was at that point. The only thing I think changed a little bit is they had some very, very important games where he left after the first quarter. One against the Golden State Warriors, one against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was the timing of when it was happening. It was like, is this happening again? My man, you just played 70-plus games.
I know.
Don't let this be what we remember you for.
It's at the end against good teams.
And it was critical games. I mean, Lakers got a little fortunate. They got some help on Friday when...
I'll say.
Which one?
I'm talking about the Denver-San Antonio one.
Denver-San Antonio, Lakers-Memphis.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
Slee.
Okay, Golden State and Sacramento both losing. I mean, they had 38 things go right, and they almost screwed it up by losing to the Grizzlies.
Memphis, I believe I saw this on
13.
Twitter. There was 13 guys?
13 players out.
Yeah.
In the pregame, I said I'm going to name off all these players, and I'll tell you what it means when I'm done. I named off all 13 players. I said, that's not the roster for the Grizzlies. Those are the players who are out tonight.
Did they play? They played a G League team, basically?
Yeah.
And that was a game with 15 seconds to go. It was.
I
was watching.
They were so disinterested in that game.
I'm looking at my Michael had baseball game on Friday afternoon, so I kind of looking at it with one eye, like, they're behind.
Probably having
whatever.
your 14th drink of the weekend.
that was early in the weekend. I'm like, they're a little early right here. It's halftime. They'll be all right. Third quarter, they're still like, what's going on around here? And then all of a sudden, I'm looking at it. They're down in the fourth quarter. I'm like, they're going to lose to Memphis?
That's what I thought too.
And they escaped. And maybe this is just what happens over the course of a season. You're going to have a couple of good breaks go your way. But they nearly tricked the whole thing off on Friday before even getting to Sunday.
But your point was on Anthony Davis of kind of getting a chance to. I felt like AD was rewriting that story. And then in the last week, it's like, okay, well, this is interesting. So Anthony Davis misses a key game against Minnesota after the first quarter, doesn't play against the Golden State Warriors. Whatever equity he had built, it's not like he missed those games in December and we forgot about him. These are the last things we're going to remember of the season, is this kind of critical stage. I do think that he puts himself at an interesting position here. 76 games, his future with the Lakers. He did sign an extension, but the biggest question has always been, can we depend on you? Because I don't think anybody's questioning when Anthony Davis is out there. Is he good? Is he effective? Is he unbelievable on defense? Can he drop 30? Are you there every single night? And can Laker fans depend that you're going to be there every single night?
And can you take out something that maybe I didn't expect you to do it? Like, and you know what the list of that is? It's Jokic. That's it. We've seen him hang with Giannis. We've seen him do it. But hey, Jokic and the Nuggets are the big bad wolf, right? They're the ones that are going to be really hard
defending
to get by.
NBA
Defending
champions.
champs.
Favorites to get back there.
Maybe not the number one seed, but they're the best team in the West. I don't think anybody would really argue that. Can you be the reason that you knocked, wait, the Lakers won? How did that happen? Because AD went off. That's how. Because AD gave Jokic the business for a 7-game series. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's the multiple-time MVP's probably going to win another one this year. It's not easy. But really, truly great players have those ones. LeBron's done it multiple times. Curry, Magic, Kobe. Those really great guys do that. Can he do it? Because if he has a 76-game season, if he makes an All-NBA team, which he's virtually guaranteed to do, if he can put this team on his back to a point and do some stuff that we weren't expecting, how do you feel anything other about really excited about what's coming next for him? I think he could really change the way we think about him.
I think it's kind of interesting because we're not there yet. If they win tomorrow, obviously the conversation now shifts towards the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets, the matchup, the Anthony Davis piece of all this. I'm curious kind of... It's an interesting position that the Lakers are in. And for those, and I know there's some of this chatter of just avoid Denver. Can you find a way to avoid Denver? I really do believe this is how the Lakers are going to approach this game tomorrow. And I'm not telling you that this is perfect, but I do feel there's a little bit from this team, especially LeBron and AD. It's like, well, if we got to face them, let's just face them. If we got to go through them now, let's just go through them now.
Facing them right away or pushing it back? Because, to your point,
I think now. Okay, you're saying you're going to face them either way.
You're going to play them either way. If you had a perfect world, would you rather play them in the first round or the third round?
Here's the only reason why I would say I think right now is better than later on, knowing you're going to play them either way. Right? That's just kind of. Denver is Denver. We already know what Denver is, and even as I think the playoffs progress, I don't think Denver is going to get worse. I think Denver is just going to be the Nuggets, and that's going to be them. Is there something about being fresher early on?
The Lakers being fresher?
Lakers being fresher early on?
Sure. Yes.
Maybe the most healthy they will be, maybe.
39.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing you could say is if you face them later, and I know we've been saying this for a long time, did you get another player? Did Vando come back? Did Gabe Vincent get another 10 games under his belt? There could be some advantages from that perspective, but I don't mind facing them early.
I also think there's something to facing them early is that either you realize this team has it, or you don't fool yourself like last season. You fooled yourself last season by getting to the Western Conference Finals and getting swept there. So now, if you lose in the first round of the playoffs, you can rip the cord on somebody. You can rip the cord on Darvin Ham. You can rip the cord on LeBron. Who knows?
I don't know if
things
you can.
like that.
You know what's funny about that is because it's Denver. That I think that the fact that it's the Nuggets, the team that everybody thinks is going to be the team that represents the NBA anyways, I don't know if it's that much
swept
different.
Again?
I'm more on Emily's side on that one. I think if they go in there...
If they get swept... if they get swept, that's different. What if it's a series? What if it's 4-2 and it's a series?
Still out in the first round. And I understand your point that the Nuggets are really good. They're the fit. I understand that, but it's like we were in a dogfight to just get into the play-in for the vast majority of the season. We snuck in by the skin of our teeth, and we got beat in the first round. Even if you don't get your butt kicked, let's say you just get beat. You just did 6 games, 7 games, whatever. You just get beat. still the first round. And the reason it's the first round is because the Nuggets are really good and you weren't. And you were in that
And
8,
you didn't
9.
get that lucky kind of draw.
You didn't.
Momentum.
You are the 8th best team in the West, or the 7th in this case, and you ran into the team that everybody agrees the best, and you're not close.
Would you agree, too, that the other part of that argument that doesn't help the Lakers in this case of saying, let's just run it back, the West is only getting better.
It seems like it.
The West has only got all these other teams that I think are going to continue to make their imprint.
Which is why I think this is so interesting, this idea of, hey, you know what they should do? They should just give this one to the Pelicans so they can play OKC in the 1-8. I'm really asking listeners, 1-877-710-ESPN, is anybody actually advocating for that? The lay down your arms in this first one and get ready for the second one. Rest your guys. Just intentionally try to play for that 8th spot as opposed to the 7th spot.
I have a quick question. I know we got to go to break. You said 1-877. Do they have to hit 1 in the
beginning?
beginning?
I think so. Did I say 1?
I don't think you need to hit it.
No, I've decided that today they need to dial 1.
I don't think 1 hurts it. I think 1 still works.
It's better.
1 doesn't hurt you. Let's emphasize that.
It's like wearing your seatbelt.
If you use 1, you're still fine.
And it's so funny, too, because you've said it the right way
We
forever.
mean the right way. They're both the right way.
Sure.
Hey, hold on. If you're in an office, dial 9 first. And then
9-1.
You know what? We don't want you to call unless you're hitting 1.
Exactly right. Exactly.
877-710-3776.
1-877.
Will Smith had great shade right up until he didn't. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Like I said, there are some classic lines. There are some classic scenes. Pacino is Pacino. I get it. Big pile of cocaine on his desk. I get it. Say hello to my little friend. Yeah, I got it. Movie stinks. Doesn't make any sense.
I feel like you're analyzing it too
Perhaps.
hard.
Perhaps. If over-analysis is me asking for a plot, then yes, I am over.
But also, I don't
plot. Guns, drugs.
It's when people
Cocaine.
have a poster of it in every single one of their
And
college
t-shirts.
dorm rooms and like T-shirts and make it part of their personality. That's what takes it over the top. It's like, okay, we get it.
To the bad guy.
We get it if it's camp. Okay, we get it. But if you actually think it's a good movie, you're
Every
wrong.
dude in college at one point either has that poster or thought about getting that poster.
And that's what I
Not
think about with
everybody.
Pulp Fiction. As again,
Oh, yeah, that's a
same
good
thing
one,
for me.
too.
The
Yeah.
plot doesn't make sense, but that's also the point of the movie. Is the plot doesn't make sense. It's the interlacing plots. Get it? Doesn't do it for me.
And other things.
Yeah, and other things.
Yeah, we'll get into some other things some other time. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Covina and Nate. Nate, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Nate?
What's going on, guys? I got to say right off the bat, Scarface not for me. We can, anyway.
Let's go.
But I think, the Lakers. You gotta. Let's just pretend the tank a little bit. What's the first rule of Fight Club? We don't talk about Fight Club. We don't even talk about the tank. Let's just. Anthony Davis a little hurt. LeBron maybe gets a headache. We saw what happened last year. Let's just not go through it. And then because you're rolling the dice on maybe someone else knocks out the Nuggets. We can't beat them, but we can beat the Kings and the Warriors. So let's just
Okay, Nate, but just like, don't you have to go through them anyways? Like at some point, I mean, you were a little fortunate last year to get to the Western Conference Finals, and you got to avoid them. But just let me kind of give you the path of what you're asking for. You're asking for tomorrow lose, playing a one-game playoff against Steph, a team that went 3-1 against you. Which, by the way, I give if Lakers played the Warriors in a 7-game set, they're going to beat them. My opinion. If they play the Kings in a 7-game set, I think they're going to beat them because Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter aren't there. But it's just one game. All you got to do is just have De'Aaron Fox go for 40 in one game, or Steph Curry go for 40 in one game, and the season's over.
This is very analytical. You guys, sure, it's bad mojo. It's bad karma. It's bad juju. You can't pick your opponent in sports very often, right? And you really
if it happens, it happens.
If it happens, it happens. I mean, if you look, I hear what you're saying about Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk. You're not wrong. I understand that the Lakers have a big advantage in size over the Golden State Warriors, et cetera, that the game's going to be a crypto. I get it all. They're 1-7 against those two teams this season. Okay? I understand their extenuating circumstances. Well, AD missed this one and this one happened and now. Cool. You're 1-7 against those two teams. The end of the day, you are 1-7 against those two teams. New Orleans is a team that you have drilled twice with important things on the line. You smoked them with the semifinal of the in-season tournament.
One of the greatest days of my Laker life.
The banner. And then you smoked him yesterday with a meaningful,
they could have avoided
asset
the playing
on the table, and you smashed him. Don't get cute. I get it. Would you rather play OKC than Denver? Yeah, but you might not get a chance to play OKC is the whole point. If you lose tomorrow because and what do you say? Oh, maybe AD's a little hurt. LeBron has a headache. The universe knows. The universe knows if you're tricking this stuff off.
Especially tomorrow.
You can't. You can't fudge your way through this. You can't just, we're going to shoot your shot. If it gets away from you early, pull it back. Yep. Wasn't meant to be tonight. We're going to be the 8. That's fine, too.
And that happens in a game. And I don't think Pelicans are going to be as bad as they were yesterday. Let's just say, hypothetically, Trav, they play a really good game. They change everything up. All of a sudden, D'Lo's missing some shots. Everybody was hitting yesterday. There was nobody that didn't play well yesterday. Right. What at least yesterday gave you was, if you have a bad night against the Pelicans, you can breathe for one more day. If that naturally happens, then it naturally happens. But I'm with you. This whole trying to play this thing out perfect, that does not sound like a good game plan.
What if played out? Let's say maybe you don't not try to win because you're not going to go out there and say, we're going to play our bottom 5 guys on the roster. It's not going to be that. But gets away early, you pack it in, and you basically just kind of run up the white flag somewhere in the middle of the second quarter, something like that, right? Where it's very obvious what's going on. Golden State and Sacramento are not chumps. They're 1-7 against the Lakers. And let's say you lose that game. Now all of a sudden it's like, well, this is the team that you decided to lay down against just to avoid to get the better seed. You're not good enough to do that.
You were trying to.
It's just bad.
You were trying
karma.
to avoid a team in the playoffs. Bron and Anthony Davis were trying to avoid a team in the playoffs. Now, of course, Minnesota had to go ahead and lose yesterday.
It just broke the way it broke. You have no control over it, but don't try to get cute with it.
It broke the way it broke last year, too, and they got Memphis that was injured. They got the Warriors that was a mismatch.
Let's try another one. Redondo, Matt, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Matt?
Yeah, you guys are pretty much saying it exactly on. I mean, what the actual goal for LeBron and the Lakers is to win a championship. And your best chance to beat Denver is early in the playoffs. As soon as you called it karma, but as soon as you start trying to pick and choose stuff, I think psychologically you're already saying you're not good enough to beat everybody.
Yeah, I think there's something to it. But look, I'm a believer in the gods when it serves me to be a believer in the gods. I'm also a believer in the reality of some of this stuff. Just being the Lakers probably aren't good enough to beat Denver. Neither's anybody else. Right? So what you're hoping for is just a war of attrition. You're hoping somebody throws in a lucky bucket. You're hoping that maybe somebody's unavailable when they would have been available earlier. That's kind of your path to it, but you can't try to juice it by missing them. It's just not going to happen like that. That's just bad mojo. It's putting something in the universe that
go
you
in
don't
tomorrow,
want.
take your chances.
Yeah.
Just go in tomorrow, take your chances.
It does feel almost as easy as all that. And by the way, I'd be really surprised if they don't win tomorrow.
According to Vegas, you're an idiot.
Clearly. Well, it's going to be close. It's 1.5. That's weird.
It's basically a pick 'em in terms of the
Emily,
basketball.
when he was passing that information, Spectrum said 91-59 from yesterday's game.
Yeah, but it doesn't work quite like that. But they beat them a lot this year. They beat them with
3-1,
things
maybe?
on the table.
Line. Yeah, that's right.
That's why that's such a weird one to me. Sometimes it's just wrong end of back and backs. This guy didn't play in this game. You just stuff happens. It's not what this has been against this
knows
team.
Something. Maybe that
They
first
always
caller.
know
Maybe the
something.
first caller is saying that this is what the Lakers should do. I don't know.
They always
I don't
know something. How often are they way off? Not a ton. Not a ton.
And they're off just enough to bring you back in.
That's off one of those. You look at it, 1.5 point. Lakers are 1.5 point underdogs to the Pelicans after they just smashed them again. Free money. Yeah, you know what? That's like the cake sitting on the windowsill. I can feel like there's a trap waiting for me. And yes, I just compared myself to Yogi Bear. Factor Cap coming. Hey, boo-boo. Factor Cap coming up next is Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Mason and I.
Cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys,
Aloha.
we're really excited to have Orel on at noon. And
Yep.
It's gonna be really exciting to have him on for Jackie Robinson Day. But I also have some fun stories to tell you guys throughout the show. One regarding Home Depot and one regarding Hinge. So
we're doing
if
Hinge
you're-
first.
If you whoever out there knows who I'm talking about. Okay,
Oh.
so
Wow.
12 years ago today, the show Girls premiered on HBO. And that show, it's not for everybody. I'm not going to convince anybody to watch it. It's not for everybody. But it is specifically, I feel like, engineered for Emily. And I've watched it. I watched it when I was in high school, when I was 16. I watched it when I was 22. And then I watched it when I was 27. All the way through. And each time I got new things out of it. And each time I realized why certain things hit me certain ways. When I was 16, I wanted to be these girls. When I was 22, I was those girls. When I was 27, I was looking back, I was the age that they were at the end of the show, looking back on that time. Anyway, it really affects me and is the show of my generation. Basically, white younger millennials.
Sure.
Is that show. So there's a show of your generation that you're like, I watched this, and that is how exactly it was to be like a teenager in the 50s. Travis, Factor Cap.
I see that's such an unnecessary cheap shot. Yeah, fact. But it's odd. The show is Freaks and Geeks. Okay, it's set in the early 1980s and kind of runs. I think it was only on one season. So what didn't? But those kids are in junior high when I was in junior high, and the only difference is, I was neither a freak nor a geek, right? I wasn't the nerdy, let's play Dungeons and Dragons, although there were a lot of kids in my school that did. And I wasn't the guys smoking cigarettes under the tree in 8th grade. I was...
That's awesome. Smoking cigs under a tree.
Kinda a little bit. Regretfully, that's kind of true. But I was, if there was a category for me, I was in the jocks, and Freaks and Geeks did not have jocks that were anything other than tangential to the story.
Yeah.
But that is the story of my generation for sure.
Al, what about you?
I think Cap. I don't know, because I could tell you what I grew up watching, and I can't really relate to it. Saved by the Bell was the most popular show when I'm growing up, right? But can I really relate to Zach and Slater? Was that real high school? That really wasn't. I don't think it was. I'll think of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of my favorite shows. I couldn't necessarily relate to these shows, so I don't think I was almost in a way living through what they're doing. Oh, hey, there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah,
I go Cap. I don't think that, at least the shows that I was watching at that time.
I think it's hard for multicam sitcoms to do that. So, for example, me and Travis's Girls and Freaks and Geeks, no studio audience.
Right.
I feel like sometimes with the studio audience, you get a little bit of separation, and it feels less real.
Fake.
Yeah, exactly. But Freaks and Geeks and Girls are both what this era of single cam. I think single cam. All right, Jorge, what do you think?
Okay, so me growing up, we talked about this last week on our draft. It was watching, Sister or the Wayans brothers, shows like that. That I grew up. But I also, being Mexicano or whatever, I grew up watching Chespirito and El Chavo, and these are kids playing in a playground, and then that's exactly what we did. Nowadays, you see kids on their iPhones, on their iPads. They don't go out and play around like they used to before. So things like that and those kind of shows is it was you would go outside, you would go hang out at the mall, you would go to the ice cream.
You would leave in the morning,
exactly.
And you would come back at dark.
Yep,
that was
that's what our generation was like.
Yep,
right. Yeah,
in the 50s.
But
I Love Lucy? No.
I'm not
exactly.
Fred Mertz.
The honeymooners. So it's funny too because I'll have friends that are going through a girls rewatch because it's kind of a thing that's been people rewatch it, and when they mention an episode, I have to rewatch that right now because there are so many episodes that are one of my favorite episodes of TV of all time. So favorite drama, probably Breaking Bad, but favorite comedy / drama, Girls. All right, so. But Max Homa over the weekend, did not end up finishing first in the Masters. He ended up finishing third. Is that how you refer to someone who finishes in that position? Okay.
Well, I finished last.
We will get to that.
We
as
will
well.
definitely get to that. Yes,
so Max
he finished
Homa
third.
was how many strokes back was he to start the day? Like 2? One stroke back to start the day. So he was in striking distance of.
You were right. It was 2.
Of Scotty
Morikawa
Scheffler.
was one.
And so he was always right there sniffing it, but then ended up not getting it. Was it the 10th hole?
He was tied. I want to say through 7 holes, he was tied for the lead.
Right. So he had a chance. But the reason why I think that he was screwed was because of this video that came out. So a video that he put himself out there in favor of Chipotle was him folding a burrito in the worst way possible. I don't think you could do it any worse than what Max Homa did. So Max Homa burritos rolling is why he didn't win the Masters. Al, fact or cap?
It is fact. We talked about karma. We've talked about a lot of these things. First off, if you haven't seen the video, go watch it. He basically, I don't know what he's thinking. He literally rolled it like you were rolling a sleeping bag.
It makes no sense.
He didn't fold
like
anything.
sushi.
Yeah, you got to left and the right, got to fold a little bit there for the tortilla. Then you start the roll so you have actually closed ends. He just started rolling. What does he think is going to happen?
Like he's doing a joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he think is going to happen with the front and the back, the rice and the beans and the meat? They're just going to fall. So, yes, that has a lot to do with why he lost.
Travis?
Cap, but I agree with what Alan is saying. So, Max Homa, you remember we had Max Homa on our show.
Yeah.
That Max Homa's thing for a minute, and he still does it, but less of it, he would critique amateurs' golf swings online. So he was kind of putting himself out there to get hammered along the way. But the move is you have to do the sides in the first roll simultaneously, in and over, and then you form the little seal. He, like I said, it looked like he was rolling a joint, but a bad joint with the open ends. It was poorly done.
Jorge?
Yeah, he definitely hurt his wrist there. So you're supposed to bring the front and push all the ingredients back. You can touch the ingredients. You can just wipe your hands off. So you can push those ingredients back. Then, like you guys say, fold the sides, create pockets, and then you start rolling forward. That's what you do. But this guy must have hurt his wrist or something, his fingers, because
I'm not so sure he's ever eaten a burrito because you wouldn't like the construction of it didn't make any sense.
This is part of a partnership with Chipotle, right? So they're doing it.
Yeah.
Like there's no, hey, this is how you do it. When we went and made the pizzas over at Pizza Hut, they gave us a little tutorial. Hey, this is how you do it. This guys don't want to run him through anything.
Yeah. So if you go to Chipotle, get a double wrap burrito. It helps keep all your ingredients in there. 2 tortillas, it's perfect.
Tortillas are so good. Jeez.
All right, so we've talked about this several times where, people will get super excited because a foul might happen because they'll get double fouls on the opposite team and they'll be giving away something. So at UVA, they used to give away bacon. At the Clippers games, they give away chicken. So free chicken for if someone misses 2 free throws in a row.
In the fourth quarter.
So, yes, in the fourth quarter. So Boban yesterday
That's the best.
Caught wind that, okay, they're cheering for this a lot. Like, they're getting really excited. So clearly he's like, okay, something's happening. And so he's basically like, okay, look at me, guys. And then tanks it on purpose and then points his finger to the crowd, goes crazy for him. So here's the call of Boban missing his second free throw.
Some free chicken on the board if he misses his second free throw.
Oh, man, free chicken on the board.
Yeah, so that's why the fans are getting a little frothy.
Oh, they're pointing to anything. Boban's playing with the crowd saying, you want chicken?
Here's your job.
No, he gave him chicken. He's a man of the people. He's a man of the people.
You did that on purpose?
He did. He gave out free chicken.
All right, so Boban should win Mandy's.
Great call.
Boban should win Mandy's Man of the People. Jorge, fact or cap?
Absolutely, especially or those guys for making the call. Wait, let me get something straight though. Is it you get chicken like a?
I think it might be Chick-fil-A or
Okay,
something like that.
okay, chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich.
Because I'm thinking, man, you get 2 pounds of chicken for the carne asada this weekend. I'll be cheering and going crazy as well.
It's probably a chicken sandwich or some chicken nuggets.
Marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated chicken. Let's roll.
All right, Travis.
Yeah, fact. Look, when you realize that, look, the Rockets aren't going anywhere. Boban is secure in his position in the NBA. He's not a guy that's fighting for a roster spot. He's not making a mockery of the game or anything like that. It's whatever. And then he realizes, I can get everybody in this building a chicken sandwich or whatever it is. I'm going to get it to you. Absolutely. Because almost everyone else would do the opposite. They'd want to be the guy to make the one. I took the chicken sandwich over. He's like, what do I care? Here, chicken sandwiches for everybody. Loved it. Give him the award.
Al?
So, fact, this guy is already, I feel like, has already been the man of the people. Like, everyone loves Boban. If you go online, it's kind of funny. There are commercials that he's in. I think when he was in San Antonio or something like that. Like, he's had commercials. He's been he had a commercial with Tobias Harris for the Goldfish. Remember the
That's what it was.
the
Goldfish.
Like, everybody loves this guy anyways, and the
He's
fact
just fun.
he's fun, and the fact that he's in a position like that and he's cheering on the crowd to miss the second free throw. Of course, you're going to go crazy for him. I love it. I thought it was
It
great.
was terrific.
All right, so back to the Masters. Scotty Scheffler was the winner of the Masters twice in 3 years. Incredible feat out of him. But his name is Scotty, which is an interesting thing to have as an adult man, to be called Scotty, not Scott. It's just, it gets there. So if you were an adult named Scott, you would go by Scott. Travis Fettercap.
Fact. I mean, yeah. You have to make a decision at some point in your late teens, early 20s to drop the E from whatever it is you're going with. Bobby, Mikey, Scotty, whatever it is, Robbie. That my son, my oldest son, is named Robert. He's been going by Bobby forever and ever. I'm the only one in his life that calls him Bob because I'm trying to nudge him towards Bobdom. I feel like a Bob is somebody you're going to take, an affable guy that you can rely on. Bob's going to get it done. Hey, just get Bob to do it. Bob will knock it out. Hey, you know what you need? Just get Bob. Bob's on it. Bobby feels like he's a little untrustworthy. Bobby feels like, he's just a kid. Bobby's just a kid. Leave him alone. He'll figure it out eventually. Like, I need a Bob in my life, or a Scott, or a Mike, or a Dave. I don't need a Davey. Like, Davey is irresponsible. Dave's going to come over and help you move your toolbox.
Yes.
Like, there's names for certain roles.
But Bobby and Scotty are professional athletes. I can see a Bobby or a Scotty being a professional athlete. Bobby Miller, Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
But if you're in the workplace,
Bob and
maybe Scott or Bob. All right, Al, what do you think?
Cap, I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it. Scottie Pippen, we got
another professional athlete,
Scotty Barnes, another professional athlete. What did the coach of the Toronto Raptors say? He's going to be the face of the league. He is the face of the league. This is when he lost it. Good player.
It's a complete crap.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, you're talking about Darko.
It's a complete crap.
Still one of my favorite games of the year. Cap, I'm okay. I'm all right with the Scotty.
All right, Jorge.
I'm with Alan. Cap. Bobby Bonilla. He gets paid every day.
Another professional athlete. Great.
By the way, that's funny that all we know are just professional athletes with these
Bobby
names.
Bonilla. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
If your accountant was named Davey, you feeling good about that?
Davey less than Scotty.
Yeah, hey, I need you to help me invest my 401k, Mikey or Michael. Michael's going to make sure that you're in Apple and Google. Mikey's going to Chuck E. Cheese it up. Let's make sure we're in the right funds.
Mikey's going to be drinking a Coors Light while he's giving you the advice.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my Fetcher Cat for today.
Yeah. Just at some point, you got to make the change. Talk a little Dodgers-Padres. Dodgers did not look good. Padres did. Dodgers got a little more bad injury news, and they decided, see how many guys we can walk in a single game. Nearly set a record. Good job, guys. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Is your vehicle ready? Is it ready for service? Is it ready for general maintenance? It's raining again, which is just awesome. You can get those wipers fixed at Valvoline. So that sound is awful. It's just terrible. Head on into your neighborhood, Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Because at Valvoline, for over 30 years, they provide you with quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you. You don't even have to get out of the car. You sit there relaxed. You won't hear that sound anymore. You can maybe close your eyes for a few minutes, send a text, listen to some music. You don't even get out of your car. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and a whole lot more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. Over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time. So visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change. So, when I was telling you guys the story earlier, when I ran into I believe it was John from San Clemente at the bar on Saturday afternoon, Emily said, yeah, I met somebody from the show this weekend, or somebody that knew me from the show this weekend, but little different circumstance.
Yeah, so yesterday, as I was lying down doing nothing because my back was hurt, I probably took 6 steps yesterday. So I was just scrolling.
Did not close your rings.
I did not close my rings. I probably had like 15 hours of screen time on my phone. It was not a great day for Emily's brain. But I decided to go swiping on Hinge, which is one of the dating apps out there, and going through and seeing people or whatever. I like somebody, and then
can I ask a series of stupid questions?
Yeah, sure.
Explain to me how this works. I have no idea what I'm even like. I can't even conceptualize what it is you're looking at.
So basically,
you create a profile. On Hinge, it's a combination of pictures and prompts. So you'll have pictures of yourself, and then it'll have question prompts. So it'll say, what's your ideal Sunday afternoon? What's your ideal date? Or 2 truths and a lie, something that gets people conversation going. So sometimes they'll like the picture, sometimes people will like the conversation starter, and that's how they'll start a conversation. Okay. And they usually add your age, what you do for an occupation if you want, and where you live, etc. So kind of has basic information that people can kind of form.
And if you like somebody and they like you, they put you together.
Yeah. So on Hinge, that's how it goes. And so liked this person.
You watch Eddie Jones highlights on YouTube too?
But then this person messaged me, and it's like, hey, are you Emily from the Travis and Sliwa show?
Is there anything in your profile that would give that away?
I have that I work at ESPN.
Okay.
Yeah. So, again, but sometimes that's a good conversation because people are interested
Somebody's
in that.
into sports, yeah.
I put that I work at ESPN. And my response to that was like, yep, and you know way too much information about me, was my response to this person.
Because you kind of tell your...
I share my life on the show, because sometimes it feels like I'm talking to you guys. It doesn't feel like I'm talking to a lot of people.
Second largest market in the country.
Exactly. And so then it's always... So in that situation, so put yourself in this guy's shoe that you're, trying to meet people on a Hinge or whatever on a dating app, and you see somebody from a show you recognize, that whatever. Do you come out and say, hey, you're from this? Or do you kind of just get to know them a little bit? Because for me, it was a little jarring, because then it feels like this.
No, not happening now. That's it.
It just feels like a little bit of a power imbalance. If you're like, oh, I know.
Was this his opener with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it feels a little bit like a power imbalance of like, oh, I listen to you. I know a lot about you. You don't know anything about me. That's where I feel like, in a dating sense.
What if he didn't say that, but he screenshotted the podcast?
Would be weirder. So if you're in that position and you know somebody from entertainment, from whatever, you slow play it?
I'd slow play it. Like and if I felt like we had made a connection at some point, and it's like, hey, maybe on the second date or the third one, I'm like, I gotta confess to something. I knew who you were before.
Yeah.
I let on that I knew
and that's
who
a little
you
charming
were.
after I get to know you as you, and I don't feel like you know more about me than I know about you.
What if, hypothetically, I'm just excited, and part of my line is, hey, I'm pretty sure I'm connecting the dots here. I think that show is so good. I think you're great on that show. I just wanted to point that. Like, what if it's a compliment of?
And it was a compliment.
Is the person
it was
doing what
very
they're
nice.
doing?
What he said was very nice. He said he liked me on the show. He wasn't like, oh, I actually hate your show. Like, no, it was.
What
nice.
was it about this particular person that intrigued you to make you check the box?
Get great abs.
All right, they put you on the spot.
What was
now.
funny too is that like he also asked me that, and I was like, that's a little weird for me to say. But
he's good looking?
I think so.
Yeah.
I like gingers. Okay, so he's a ginger, and I like gingers, and it kind of like if I come across one, it usually works.
You're good.
So anyway, it was just a little. It was a little odd. I think again, it's the idea that you have more information on me than I have about you, and I honestly, if I was in his position, I would have started talking to me, got to know me. Oh, hey, on the first date, actually, I'll listen
Pointed
to your
that
show.
out later
I'll listen to your show. It sounds really good. And then act as if you just started listening to the show and that you don't have a ton of information about me in the back.
He doesn't.
As what I would have done.
He doesn't say anything. He just wears an Astley shirt to the first date.
One of the few people that got one of those. I don't know, Jorge. What would you have done?
I would have done it like Travis said, in the third date, and be like, "Oh, by the way, I like what you guys said on the show yesterday, or whatever, something like that, just to let you know that he's listening, stuff like that." But no, when I used to go out and date, I remember when I met Brenda, I didn't tell her what I was doing for a living, none of that stuff yet, because I didn't know where I was gonna go. So
and you met in person. You didn't meet like on an app,
we met like
right?
5 times, to be honest with you. So every time I would, meet her, what do you do for a living? I'm a waiter. Where? I'm like, no, I was waiting for you to take me serious so we can get this going, and then the rest is history.
But yeah, I think it's always just it's a little odd. It feels like a little bit like, I don't know.
I think it has way more to do with the individual than anything else. Like if you, like the way that you laid it out there, Slee, that's probably relatively harmless. If you kind of double back a couple times, it's kind of sheepishly like, hey, I got to tell you, I did know that was you before I let on. I think that's okay. But if your opener is, are you the one from the radio? That's weird,
it is.
Right? That's a weird way to do
Saying
it.
it like that would also.
That's why I said it like that.
You can't leave voice.
No, had I said it normal, it wouldn't have had
text.
the same impact. I had to use the voice.
Can you say it again?
Yeah, but it's all text. But you can leave voice messages for people. Like,
yeah, you just. And again, I'm a fan of the slow build. Right, that somebody that's coming in super hot is like, whoa, take it easy. Like, let's get to know each other a little bit.
So what happens next? Anything?
What do
you think?
How red was his hair?
Maybe
I'm
in a
curious,
break.
I'm curious if that's like the difference of saying no.
I'm sorry to this person, but I think it's a no.
Okay.
Only
It's a no for
because
me,
it is just like that was just an interesting.
We just freaking lost the podcast download.
He likes the show. He'll be back.
There goes that.
Yeah, just call it and say that you like those guys.
Actually, tune in. Find out why she said no. That's a teaser.
No.
That's
gosh.
great.
I apologize to everybody in the LA area.
Orel Hershiser is going to come in and join us in about 5 minutes from right now. He's going to call in. We got a lot to talk about. Talk about Dodger baseball, Jackie Robinson Day. He just purchased a really cool piece of art featuring Jackie Robinson. So we got a lot to get into. But I don't want to waste a question on him about, does Jerks and Profar know that people don't throw at you when they're throwing a perfect game in the fifth inning?
I think he was a little off on that one. I was as confused as anybody.
Everybody was. It's like, what's he mad at? Like,
when
he
I
has a
first
perfect
saw him,
game.
I'm like, is he saying something to Stone? Like, guy hasn't given up a walk, a hit, or anything. I'm pretty sure he's not trying to hit you, Profar.
He's not giving up a perfect game opportunity to hit Jerks and Profar.
Not happening.
No, he has maybe the best night of his life in the works.
Sure, he was
It's not going to happen. Profar got his revenge. After then, Will Smith's like, dude, we're not throwing at you. You're pretty much irrelevant.
Probably a little unnecessary there, Will.
It's one of those things that
Why did I
everybody
have to
got
say
what
that?
they want. It's funny. It's a good burn. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
And then Profar turns around last night and hits one over the center fielder's head to
loaded.
clear the bases.
It's not the playoffs.
Everybody got what they needed.
But I think I next time they're in San Diego, I guarantee you there's going to be something said about Will Smith as he walks up the plate on the board, on the video board.
No need.
Something from somebody is going to be like, oh, so you think that he's irrelevant? And then I definitely know something's going to happen.
Have the little Mr. Irrelevant parade like they do in Newport Beach for for the NFL guys along the way. Speaking of, Orel Hershiser is scheduled to join us coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The biggest.
All right, parents, here's some fun facts for you here from Children's Dental Fun Zone. First tooth, first visit. Once those teeth pop out, you gotta bring them to Children's Dental Fun Zone. And as far as ortho is concerned, you gotta get those kids here by the age of 8.
Jackie Robinson hit that ball. It went zooming across the left field wall. Yeah, boy.
It, of course, is Jackie Robinson Day. Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Teams around baseball, we're running on number 42 tonight, including the Dodgers as well. Joining us right now is a friend of the program. All he's done is won the Cy Young, the World Series, the Silver Slugger, the ALCS MVP, the NLCS MVP, go to the All-Star game 3 times, a Gold Glove, and a World Series MVP. Talking about Orel Hershiser, of course. Orel, good to talk to you again. How you been?
All right, Travis, how are you?
I am fantastic. So let's start with this. Jackie Robinson Day. You just purchased a painting called Grace, which is a painting of Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, Don Newcomb, and Martin Luther King Jr. I've gotten a chance to see pictures of it online. It's amazing. What made you decide that you wanted to buy that?
Wow. How long is this segment?
As much time as you need, Orel.
Well, I started a relationship with a great artist named Dave Hobrick, and that relationship started because I loved his work, and he was doing things about all-time greats and athletes and all-time Dodgers. Ended up writing the foreword to his book for all-time Dodgers, and Ned Coletti wrote the content. Dave's work, then he asked if we could do a painting on the 59 scoreless, and we took some artistic leniency, I guess, or creativity, where Dave likes to tell stories. So it doesn't have to be an actual moment or a conglomeration of moments it could be. So we have Tommy raising his hands. We have Don Drysdale on the scoreboard, which he wasn't, and commemorating his record. We have the scoreboard of San Diego, of course. We have Sosha coming out to shake my hand. We have me looking to the sky, and it just kind of capsulizes everything that happened in that moment. And when I saw that, and Dave was nice enough to give me that painting, we decided that I wanted some more of his art and some more of his works. And so my partners and I at Legends Attic and also in my car dealerships, we formulated a small company, and we decided, let's find out what else Dave wants to sell or what else is going on in Dave's life. And in Dave's life, he wanted to start not doing as much commission work as he wanted to do more stories and more things from his heart, because he's an old athlete. He had some accidents that kept him from being an athlete anymore, and so he became an artist, and he just has a heart for athletes and for the stories. Well, in going to purchase with my partners his paintings, we bought about 10 of them, and we have another relationship going on where we might get a few more. I said, Dave, we got to have your Mona Lisa. And he's like, what do you mean? I go, Grace is amazing. It's those 4 around the table praying before a meal in the midst of the civil rights movement, in the midst of Jackie, being at the forefront of this. Martin Luther, of course, at the forefront. Nuke having to live his life like this. Campy having to live his life through this. And I'm like, that is the most amazing thing. And he goes, Orel, the home right now is in the Negro Hall of Fame. And I go, Dave, it won't move. It won't move. That's where it needs to be. And so in buying Grace, which happened a while ago with the other paintings, we said the best time to announce this, that it's not moving and that it's ours now, is on Jackie Robinson Day. So this has been in the works for about a month or so. And Dave now is at a place where he doesn't have to take on commission work. He can work from his heart. And he's world-renowned now because he has a deal now with, believe it or not, Rolling Stone for Otani pieces over in Japan and Korea and stuff like that. His art here in the U.S. has really taken off because he's now one of the recognized top artists. And this is pastels in black and white charcoal. And so I've always been a big fan of memorabilia. I have a huge memorabilia collection. Eddie, my partner, and Mike Capozio, my partner, have been huge fans of memorabilia and have collected all kinds of stuff. So we decided that we're going to make sure we pass on this experience that we have to other people, and we have to leave the art and certain things in the right place, even though we're buying it. And so Grace is a heartfelt mission. I talked to Bob Kendrick, the president of the Museum of the Negro in Kansas City, Museum Hall of Fame. I want to call it the Hall of Fame, but it's really more of the history of Negro baseball before they came to the big leagues. And talking to Bob and his passion and his love and his knowledge, I just said, Bob, do not worry. This is not being moved. That story needs to be told. That education and history needs to be there. And so we're completely on board. And, everybody says this is Jackie Robinson Day because it's the day he broke the color barrier. But there was so much more to Jackie than just crossing that line. I mean, he spoke in the halls of our government. He walked. He sat in. He did all kinds of stuff. They stopped for gas one time when he was in the minors, and a 100-gallon tank on the bus, and the owner wouldn't let him use the bathroom, and he said, "Pull the gas, we're done." And then the owner, he acquiesced and said, $100 of gas for my gas station is a much bigger price than somebody going to the bathroom. And so Jackie was an activist, and he, in the day, don't take this word the wrong way, but he was radical, and he was at the forefront, and he wasn't afraid to speak his mind and to be there. And Branch Rickey said, Jackie said, you don't want a player to fight. And Branch Rickey said, well, I want a player strong enough that won't fight back. And Jackie didn't on the field, but he did, in the ways the culture allowed him. And so this is a very important day for baseball, for what has happened in our country and around the world. But it's very important that Grace stay where she's at.
Orel Hershiser, the great Orel Hershiser, taking some time here to join us on the Travis and Sliwa show. Orel, I'm curious, and I know you're talking about how important the day is. How do you feel like Major League Baseball, Jackie Robinson Day today, everyone will wear the number 42. How do you feel like Major League Baseball has properly represented this day? Are there some other things that you'd like to see, just out of curiosity, of how they've represented this day specifically?
Yeah, I'm a novice at answering this question. I think we need to ask Black Americans and Black baseball players and others. My opinion could be my opinion, but I would hope that part of my opinion would be wrong, so I would be educated. I don't live in that place. I think Major League Baseball is doing their best within what they can do. I think always when we come to these days, things are evaluated and graded and percentages are put out about who's a manager, who's a general manager, what jobs they have, how they interview, did they get a fair shot. I just think that we just have to move towards changing a lot of people's hearts always, no matter what the topic. And it's always hard to legislate this, because you can create rules, but the rules don't guide people's hearts all the time. And I think we just need to expose what is going on and then always try and make it better.
Orel Hershiser join us here on Trav and Slee. And Orel, obviously, the first couple of weeks, the few weeks of the season have been just wild for all of the reasons that we've talked about ad nauseum. But just from a eyeballs situation, the addition of Shohei Ohtani, the first 3 weeks of this season to the other 3 weeks that you've been around the beginning of Dodger baseball, being a player, being a coach, a broadcaster, just what does he bring to just the day in, day out existence of having that man on this team?
Well, I mean, it is Jackie Robinson Day, and I'm sure the teammates of the Dodgers are feeling a little bit like Jackie's been added to the club. The exposure, the intensity of every game, the fans' passion for every at bat, for what is going on, and it's like having Bruce Springsteen on your team. It's like having Billy Joel. If you're going to talk about the Beatles, it's Paul McCartney. I mean, this guy is a superstar, and his Q rating is off the charts, no matter what. The country of Japan watches. The jerseys that are sold are breaking all kinds of records within 48 hours of when he joined the team. I think we're very fortunate that the Angels had Mike Trout and then the rest of the team. The Dodgers have a lot of superstars and have high expectations for winning, where Shohei with the Angels maybe was a little bit more of let's go to watch Shohei, where with the Dodgers, it's like, let's go to watch Shohei and the Dodgers, or let's go to watch the Dodgers and Mookie and Freddie and Shohei and Will Smith and Max Muncy and Clayton Kershaw and Tyler Glasnow now and Walker Buehler's coming back. It's a huge story with the club, and it has changed the culture of the club. But it's probably what they've dealt with forever. And when Europe put that Dodger uniform on in this great city, I think the fun part, we might cross 4 million in attendance this year. It will be so much fun every night to continue to go to the ballpark and to watch these guys perform. And it's more than just Shohei, but it definitely is an event that he is more of an event now that he's on the club.
Well, just on the baseball field, just looking at the team in general, they're 11-7 so far. Just finished a 3-game set against the Padres. Just your overall thoughts. What do you feel of? What do you like? What are you waiting to see more improvement on? What do you think of the squad so far?
Well, I think there are a lot of places that we have reached the expectations, and there's a lot of places that they want to improve. I think we haven't reached 100 at bats for players, but if you look at the guys that hit probably 6 through 9, their first 100 at bats when we get there are going to be evaluated a little bit more because the first 4 have been off the charts, and even the first 5 with Max in that hole or Teoscar, those guys have performed really high. James Outman and Kike and CT and Austin Barnes gotten off to a hot start. We might have the best catching duo in baseball. And I think the starting pitching has been there and stellar, and it also has had its nights when it's like, oh, what's that? We hope we don't get many more of those outings. But the large majority of the outings from the starters have been very good. And then I think you see the same thing with the bullpen. I think you see the excellence and the brilliance, and that is more consistent than the nights where you go, oh, they've got a flat tire. So we haven't hit our complete stride because of the expectations. But if you look at the record, you look at how they've played, I think the defense is coming, and I think that could have been an eyesore for people or a place where they said there was an Achilles heel. But, boy, they're starting to round into shape there, and I think they will further and further as they go. And it's going to be an exciting year. They've got a top 5 major league rotation on the IL. They've probably got 2 of the best relievers in baseball on the IL in Gratterall and Trinan. So don't worry. They're in first place. They might be slightly more inconsistent than you want because you want to be perfect, but that's the expectation. We have a perfect team, but no, it doesn't happen that way when you take the field.
Legend of Dodger baseball, Orel Hershiser, joining us here on the Trav and Slee Show. With that in mind, Orel, and I'm sure I'm the very, very first person to ever bring this up to you, but you threw over 200 innings 9 times in your career. I understand that the ask is different, that what you're asking a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball to do now is different than what they were asking you to do in the 80s and 90s. But why do you think we are where we are in terms of all of these pitching injuries? I know Justin Verlander's been talking about this, Max Scherzer, and many, many others, but just the rash of injuries, because it's not just 1 or 2 guys here and there. It's a Hall of Fame list of talent that is down right now with arm injuries.
Yeah, I think maybe we're at a tipping point. I don't think you can pin it on one particular thing, like people want to say the pitch clock. People want to say the data and spin rates and velocities, and I think it could be a conglomeration of everything. When you ask people to sprint and they're marathoners, that would be tough. So I think there's adjustment here, and there's probably going to be adjustment in training. As we go through this, there's going to be an adjustment in workloads. There hasn't been an adjustment in roster that would protect people because they've, in the 70s and 80s, there were 9, 10, maybe 11-man pitching staffs, and now we're looking at 13. Maybe they need to look at the roster and shorten the pitching staff so that people have to go longer, and then to go longer, then they have to put less effort into every pitch. I think some theories might change that, every pitch doesn't have to be thrown at 100% effort, that you can change speeds up as well as down. I don't have to hit the exact spin rate or the exact velocity of my max to stay in the game or to feel like I'm going to make a team or to feel like I'm going to stay with a team or I feel like I'm going to get a better contract. I think that there are outs below your max effort, but But when you come from grade school through high school, through college, get drafted, and that's the reason, it's hard to change that mindset in guys' minds that, and that's how you kind of get paid and that's how you kind of get jobs. So it's going to be slow, and I'm not sure it's something we can legislate. I heard a decent idea from different people about rule changes that might help, but it's going to be.
What was the idea?
Complicated equation. The one idea was to take away the DH when a starting pitcher doesn't go 5 innings. That was a Verlander and Scherzer possibly brainstorm. But does that change the effort and the pitch clock and everything else? I think it's a good opening salvo to kind of start brainstorming, but I'm not sure we're there yet.
Orel Hershiser joining us here on the Travis Lee Show. And last one, Orel, you mentioned earlier during our conversation that you are a big sports memorabilia guy. That was at least part of the impetus to purchase Grace, the picture of Jackie Robinson and Roy Campanella, Don Newcomb, and MLK, the painting, I should say. Not your most valuable, but what's your favorite piece of memorabilia that you own? Means most to you.
Oh, wow. It's really interesting because I'm actually getting to a point where I'm thinking about unloading it, not leaving the headache for my kids. The most sensitive piece would be probably something from my parents. They were Little League Parents of the Year, and they got a Ronald Reagan autographed ball for being Little League Parents of the Year, and I went to the last Reagan State dinner. And then later on in life, my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and I got invited to the White House and got to have a private dinner in the private quarters with the president and took my mom. A putter from Payne Stewart through Robert Fraley, my best friend and attorney, through Arnold Palmer. Payne won the Bay Hill Classic. And at Bay Hill, after you win it, you get invited to Arnie's house after dinner, the next night. And then after dinner, Payne was ushered into the garage, which was his club room and club manufacturing room and where he adjusted clubs. And Payne was allowed from Arnie to select one club.
Oh, wow.
And when he selected the club, he selected one of Arnold's goosenecks putters that he had won a tournament with. Payne gave that to Robert Fraley, who was our attorney and best friend at the time, who we played golf with. Payne and Robert went down in the plane crash in 99. Dixie Fraley came to me and asked me to be, of course, at the funeral and speak and do different things. And then she said, what of 3 or 4 things of Robert's stuff would you like? And there was a painting that he bought when we were on a road trip together. There was a coffee table that we argued over, and he bought in front of me off to the side, and I never got. There was a golf shirt, the last golf shirt that he wore when we played. And there was the putter that Payne gave him that he gave to me, but I gave back on the night that I became a Cleveland Indian and left the Dodgers because the Dodgers had signed Nomo. Robert and I were up till 3-4 in the morning negotiating with the Dodgers, and I was just putting in his office with this putter. And he goes, "You like that putter?" I go, "This is an amazing putter. You know what this is?" Yeah, he goes, "I know what it is. Arnold Palmer won a tournament with that. I got it from Payne." Wow. I go, "Oh my gosh, yeah, this putter is worth a zillion." And he goes, "You can have it." I go, "Robert, I can't take this putter." And I put it back in his bag. We finished the negotiation with the Dodgers. We went to, and I said, it's over. I'm not going to be a Dodger. We ended up signing with the Indians. I called Peter McGowan of the Giants and apologized and said, I'm going to be an Indian. He said, "Orel, thank you for the call." Called John Hart, said, "I'll be there tomorrow." And Robert kept the putter. When the plane went down, that was definitely one of the things when Dixie said, "What are Robert's stuff you want?" I said, Arnie, Payne, Robert's putter would be wonderful.
That's a wonderful story. It is Jackie Robinson Day. It'll be celebrated across Major League Baseball. Orel Hershiser joining us to talk about that and the painting of Grace. Roy Campanella, Jackie Robinson, of course, Don Newcomb, and MLK that continues to hang in the Negro Leagues Museum, Negro Leagues Hall of Fame in Kansas City. Orel, always love talking baseball with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Orel.
All right, Alan. All right. See you, Travis.
You got it. I could talk to him all day long about a million different
Great
things.
stories, too.
Yeah, just fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about what he said about the team and where they are. Like, there's a lot of good, and there's some, we're going to have to clean that up as well. It's coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The LA 84 Foundation is hosting the Play Equity What are you going to enjoy tomorrow? A little Sedano and Cap in the AM. That's right. A Lakers play-in Tuesday begins with unsportsmanlike until 7 a.m. And then Sedano and Cap live and local in your morning, 7 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Of course, on 710, on the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube. Plus, Corporate Greg will be there. Myself, fun and frivolity, hijinks, and getting you ready for the Lakers 7-8 play-in game against the Pelicans. That's tomorrow at 7 a.m. Don't miss it. And that means there's a super crosstalk at around 9:50 with Trav and Slee in Shitano and Cappy. Tomorrow, right here on 710 ESPN. Right now, more of the Travis and Sliwa Show. Your Monday.
I feel like the early version of Super Crosstalk tomorrow, 9:55, right?
Yeah, I think it's 9:55.
Yeah, Chris said 9:50. I feel like 9:55 is better.
Yeah.
Well, no, it has to be 55.
Why?
Well, Mason and Island don't come on till 55.
58, 1
yeah,
o'clock.
mine's one. Yeah, mine's one.
Sometimes. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll just stroll in at our
10
leisure,
a.m.
as they like to say. Yeah, right? Like that where I like to say the word leisure as leisure. Feels
Well, it's
fancy.
because they have to go to the bathroom. They have
Right.
to get everything else figured
Get a
out.
little
That's
coffee.
why they're
I'm
always late.
already like 2% anxious about my routine being thrown off tomorrow.
Yeah, 'cause now you can't prep
I gave you guys
detail-oriented.
2 days of warning.
I know you did. I'm not criticizing you. I'm worried about
So-
my own.
I wonder what he's
neuroses.
going to do.
So,
I feel like everything's going to be thrown off.
He's going to go into my office because he needs somewhere to do something.
so is this what you're like when
Maybe.
you're going to the airport and
Yes.
Susan's not hurt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is
But
a
that's
perfect
real,
example.
No, the airport is real stress.
So's this. I like my
It's-
routine.
You
it's
get
Same.
here 7 hours before
I
the
know.
show starts.
And I'm not worried about being late to the show, but
I know,
I'm worried
no.
about where I'm going to sit. I'm worried about how it's going to feel, where I'm going to put my coffee, what's the lighting going to be like. I got a lot of moving parts.
You know what's something that's funny that I've never told you before? I can tell when it's you who walks through the door or if it's Greg or if it's anybody else who walks through the door because you do the same thing every day. You walk through, I hear the of the door kind of getting open, getting unlocked.
Yeah.
And then you go straight for you get the cabinet,
Yes.
get a coffee cup, get the coffee, I hear the and then I hear you walking down the hall. And then that's where I know it's Travis.
Do I moan every morning?
Yeah, you do.
What do you
Do I
mean?
really?
What do you mean? What's
Almost
the-
every
But
morning.
what would the moaning be for?
You like stretch or I don't know, your
I
back
do stretch
hurts or
while
something.
no, you know
like
what
that.
it is? I do stretch while
Yeah.
I'm in there.
So
That's
I hear that, and then I hear you walking in the hallway in your vans typically.
Yeah.
And then I know it's you, and it's not Greg because again my back is to the door.
Yeah.
So I know who's who by their footsteps.
Do you go
and so I go,
straight
Hey
there?
Greg, hey Trav.
in
I come
kitchen?
through this door. I get
Kitchen?
a cup of coffee. She's right. I open the cabinet. I get a mug.
Mm-hmm.
Fill up a cup of coffee. That's when I stretch and apparently make a very loud groaning sound.
That's more accurate. That's that.
Yeah.
See, I
yeah.
snuck up on Sliwa the other. He didn't even hear me. He was getting in the elevator. I snuck up to, snuck in.
Oh,
on
this
him.
guy didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a sneak. Like, he could have took my phone and my wallet and everything. He was so quiet behind me. The security guard said nothing. Like they were in on
I
it.
don't like that. That's their
No,
job to
because
let you know.
I told him, hey, just don't say nothing. And
I
then-
know the guy's
yeah.
like whispering in my ear.
That's so
like, Buenos
good.
dias. And he's like, oh, where'd you come from?
Thanks again to Orel Hershiser for joining us, talking a little Dodger baseball, talking a little Jackie Robinson Day. Dodgers play the Washington Nationals tonight at Dodger Stadium. The series against the Padres, we were talking about it on Friday, Al, and you're like, yeah, it's a big series for Padres. Padre fans got to feel pretty good. They took 2 out of 3. It's just the second series the Dodgers have lost this year. And before we get to the Dodgers, I was impressed with the Padres, kind of the grit and grind that they showed throughout that series because they were behind by, 4 runs on
7-3
Friday night?
on Friday.
Yeah, four, and not like kind of late in the game. It wasn't like it was 4 runs in the third inning. They were chasing runs for most of the night. They ended up winning that game, and then they win last night because the Dodgers walked everybody. They 14 walks. It's the most walks that the Dodger team has issued in 62 years.
Yeah.
62 years they hadn't walked 14 guys in a game. So that one's more the Dodgers just laying an egg on the mound more than anything else. But the Dodgers, like we've talked about, they've been good, but they have not been good to the level that I think we were hoping to, at least as Dodger fan, we were hoping to see. But back of the orders, not very good, and the pitching has been scattershot outside of Glasnow.
I think this is kind of the funny part about it when you think of the Dodgers. And Orel Hershiser was just mentioning this as well. They're okay. Like they look. I think in their last 10 games, they're 5-5.
Yeah.
All right. That's not
11-7 overall.
11-7 overall. So there's a little bit of what's going on with the Dodgers? Yeah, it's just like it's okay. There's nothing nothing crazy. But I don't think there's ever going to be a question. The question's never going to be, hey, are they going to win the division? They're going to win the division. Everybody just assumes they're going to win the division. They'll probably get healthier, and they'll play better as the season goes along.
They'll find their stride at some point, too.
But when you create this expectation and you sign Shohei Ohtani and you sign Yamamoto and you get Glasnow and go down the list of Teoscar Hernandez, you go down the list, there is this, you're supposed to come out and just – you're supposed to win 7-2 every game, I think is in everybody's mind.
Supposed to win 7-2 4 out of 5 times.
Yeah.
Like, we'll give you the baseball of it all. Like, 1 out of 5, you're just not going to be on it, or somebody else is going to be really good. But, yeah, I think that's kind of what it feels like it's supposed to be until you look under the hood a little bit. The top has been as advertised. The threesome has been as advertised. Yeah. Hernandez, Smith, and Muncy, as advertised. Those guys have been really, really good. The next half of that, the Lux, Outman, Taylor, Rojas, whoever else you want to throw in there, bad. Mm-hmm. Like, not very, like, bad. It just really hasn't happened for him. Trinan hasn't really pitched. Gratterall hasn't pitched. That 2 of your best relievers are on the rack. Your other 2 guys were unavailable last night. It just, there's a lot of things that feel like 2 months from now, I think we're going to have a much better sense. Buehler will be around. You'll get these other relief pitchers back. I think that's the team that you're going to play with, not the team you have right now.
I don't know what it means, but just something to keep in mind. I think in those 2 games that you mentioned, the 2 wins that the Padres had, and you said something when we were prepping. You're like, yeah, that team doesn't win last year.
It's the anti-2023 team.
They don't grind it out.
Not
and
at
if
all.
You're out a couple of runs, it's basically over. I think there was a little bit with the Dodgers,
They've come back from 8 down to the Cubs the other night?
They were down 8-0.
I know they had a couple of comebacks against the Giants too.
Yep.
Yeah, they've been doing it all year.
They won 9-8. But if there's just one thing I'll say about the Dodgers, that game on Friday, you're up 7-3. You feel like the Dodgers, like, that's lights out.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a couple of times so far with the Dodgers this year. Not that 3-1 is a big advantage. They're up 3-1 yesterday, but there's an expectation that you don't lose those types of games.
I know that I'm a broken record on this. Pitching is everything. You can score a lot of runs. That you're going to win some games. If you got this crazy offense, you're going to win some games. Don't get me wrong. But you can't win consistently if your pitching isn't consistent. And right now, it's Glasnow and kind of sort of Yamamoto. He's been better. But after that, it's like, I don't know. We'll see what comes out on any given night. Stone, nearly perfect game to, he's out in the 3rd inning. He's just been kind of all over the map. Hot and Cold is coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, breaking news from our friends over at Pizza Hut. Any medium pizza with any of your favorite toppings are all just $12. Any recipe, any topics, any medium for just $12. We've had the honor of having Pizza Hut come in the last couple of weeks. Really, they've been coming in for the last couple of months. They bought us a couple medium pizzas last week. Whatever toppings you want on it. It's so easy. It's so great. Obviously tastes delicious. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com.
Just being arrested for
Heat and Plumbing Company of SoCal sports fans.
You're as cold as ice.
Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. Time for our feature we do 3 days a week at 12:30 p.m. Who's hot? Who's cold? Thanks to NextGen.
Boy, time for Who's Hot, Who's Cold. Take it away, Producer M.
Boy. Let's go to hot first. All right, so
Good morning.
Wow.
Hot.
I'm still going to do it. It's
No, I
but
know.
now I'm going to be aware of it. At
It's
least.
just your routine. All right, so today is the WNBA draft. It's going to be at 4:30
Wonder who'll go
on
first.
ESPN. Yeah, not really who's going first, but the rest of the draft is interesting. Angel Reese is there. There's the girl from Stanford who is her godparents is Del Curry. Del and
Sonia?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So that is her godparents. Anyway,
Wow.
There's a lot of connections amongst them, and she's close with Steph too. But hot is Caitlin Clark, not only because she will presumably be going first overall in the WNBA draft to the Indiana Fever, but because she was also on SNL this weekend. So Michael Che, the host of Weekend Update, I've been noticing this too, but for like a couple months at least, just been taking shots at women's sports, women's basketball in particular, and it always gets like a half to no laugh, but it cracks him up.
But that's why he does it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's doing, and I also think that it doesn't do that much harm. It's just Michael Che being Michael Che, and we all understand what he's doing. He's doing a bit, basically. So, Caitlin Clark. So Michael Che had a joke where he said, she's getting her jersey retired at Indiana, and they're going to hang up a banner, but they should just replace it with an apron. So it had almost no laughs. It was silent, and I honestly think that Michael Che was surprised by how little laughs it got.
Okay, but see, I was watching it. It wasn't a good joke. Like,
Yeah.
there's a joke in there, but that wasn't like it wasn't. It
Right.
just. And
I'm with you.
I'm sure it's because of what you're about to mention
Exactly.
next.
So then, right after that, they're like, "Okay, now we're going to bring on Caitlin Clark," and then Caitlin
Did you
comes on
think
the
it was
going to
be her or somebody dressed as her, like they
I
do
thought
on
it was going to be
SNL?
someone dressed like her.
Me
I thought
too.
it was going to be like Heidi Gardner as Caitlin Clark, but I'm really happy. They do this often where they have like the meetup cameo of like
Yeah.
the person they're impersonating comes and does it. So this is Caitlin Clark's series of jokes with Michael Che on Weekend Update.
Well, I mean, I can't play like you do.
Yeah, we know. And obviously, I can't tell jokes like you do.
Thank you for that.
But I did write some jokes, and it would mean a lot to me if you read some of them. Just right over there on the cards.
Well, the Indiana Fever have the first pick in this Monday's draft. A reminder that Indiana Fever is a WNBA team and not what Michael Che gave to dozens of women at Purdue University. You really wrote these yourself?
Yeah.
Netflix's top new show is Ripley, featuring an eerie, unsettling performance by actor Andrew Scott. Critics say it's the hardest thing to watch on Netflix since Michael Che's special Shame Himself.
I like that one. There's more.
This year, Caitlin Clark broke the record for three-pointers in a single season, and I have three-pointers for Michael Che. 1B, 2 funnier, 3 dumb.
All right, so
pretty good.
Caitlin got her shots off, and I think the main issue that a lot of people who talk about women's sports have is not that you're making jokes. If the jokes are bad and lazy, so you can play with these things while having the jokes be fun. So I like that Caitlin got.
You know what was
her
funny
shots off.
about me, or about that to me, was, look, for a long time, I'm going to be careful how I phrase this. For a long time, there was this feeling for me that women's basketball in particular was being forced. Like, you got to watch this. If you don't like this, there's something wrong with you. If you don't like it, you're not doing it right. You're not whatever.
Wasn't
like,
organic.
I'm like, I don't like this. Don't sue me, but I don't like this. This is not good. This does not entertain me. She's the first one that I've seen that feels like she's there because everybody knows who she is, not because you were told you need to know who she is. She forced her way into the cognoscenti by force of ability, through nothing other than being really, really good at what she does. It was, and it felt like that. And seeing her pop up on SNL was like damn, she is really on a level that is entirely her own.
I mean, heck, she's already had, think about that, those State Farm commercials that were going on during the tournament. Those were State Farm commercials, and it wasn't even like a surprise or a shock. It was like, oh, yeah, of course, Caitlin Clark's going to be getting these big endorsers and everything else. But I'm with you on anytime you feel like you're forced to watch something, it actually pushes you even further away.
Yeah, if you don't watch this, you're not a good person.
Yeah, right. And I think what she has done is she's helped actually introduce me to some other great college players. Because I'm watching her, I'm now watching, okay, wait a minute, why are we not talking about this girl as well?
Cardosa, yeah.
It could be whoever it is. So I think it's a unique opportunity, or it's a unique moment. And the fact that she'll be in the WNBA, I don't know what's going to translate from there. I just know that she's been I was picking her over a lot of other things to watch when it came to sports.
And to go and try to be funny in front of funny people is not easy to do, and she pulled it off. Good for her.
Go ahead.
What makes it? What is better, being on SNL or one of those night shows like Jay Leno back then?
I think you get a little bit of a longer run at SNL. You got to do more things. It's not quite as answer question.
And there's less people that I think do it on SNL,
exclusive.
Right?
Yeah. It's
more of
Tonight
a
Show.
big deal on SNL.
You have 3 guests every day.
Right.
SNL is one guest per week, and it's highly selective to get there. So honestly, I thought they were going to have her host. Not like, because a couple
It
weeks
wouldn't have been out of bounds.
Because a couple weeks ago, I was like, she's getting enough pub, and there's some space right there that they could have put her in, but Ryan Gosling was great. By the way, if you didn't catch SNL this past week, they had one of the funniest sketches I've seen in a long time, and one of the best breaks in SNL history to me. It wasn't Jimmy Fallon breaking in the More Cowbell sketch. It was Heidi Gardner.
The Beavis
could
and
not
Butthead.
continue on with the Beavis and Butthead
It was
sketch.
pretty darn good.
And so if you haven't seen it, go look at it. And Heidi Gardner never breaks. She's not a breaker on the show. She was great. So that's hot for Caitlin Clark. And so cold is a little switcheroo. So on Sunday Night Baseball, a home run was hit by a Padre player. Who was it again? It was
Machado,
Tatis?
I think.
Machado?
Yeah.
Machado.
And so Machado hits a home run, goes into the Dodger pavilions, and as per usual, people just throw the ball back if it's hit by the other team. So Guy does throw a ball back. He switched it out in his pocket, so he kept the home run ball by Machado.
Pretty smoothly, too, by the way.
Yes, exactly. Threw back the fake ball.
Until 88 angles came in. I'm like, what is this, a review of the NBA? Why'd they have so many cameras on this guy?
And that's the great thing, is because Sunday Night Baseball knew they had a viral moment, and they got Buster Olney to go interview him. So this is Buster talking to the guy who caught it in the stands.
Here with Rennan, who's got to tell us a story of the old switcheroo. He made great plans for this.
Well, I got caught, but every ball hawk out here knows to come prepared for a reason like this. You know, a hated Padre hits a home run. You don't throw it back, you're going to get booed mercilessly by the Dodger faithful. That's happened to me in the past before. So I try to come prepared, and I put the ball in my pocket just in case it happened, and I knew Machado, big power hitter, was up, and it could happen, so I was ready.
All right, what kind of reaction did you get around you then? Because I'm guessing others might have seen the switcheroo.
Nobody in the stands called me out for the switcheroo. Everybody high-fived me and was happy I threw it back. The telecast seems to be the only people that caught it. I did admit to a few people here what I had
everybody
done.
watching.
But yeah, I got away scot-free from the crowd.
All right, what are you going to do with the baseball?
I'm definitely going to keep it. The wife won't like it because I try to collect baseballs a lot, and I have too many as it is. But this one's for sure going on the mantle.
I feel bad for getting caught up. Like, he got just caught. And I'm not. It's kind of funny when we say it, where he's like, nobody around me knew what was going on. He got away with it. It just happened to be a nationally televised game on ESPN, where every ESPN camera, for them to go out there and say, hey, let's interview the guy. I love his explanation. Some people feel, of course, very pressured to throw the ball back. I get it. I understand why. But he still,
I don't understand.
has the ball.
I don't understand why he kept the ball. Early in that interview, he says, when you catch a ball from a hitted Padre, you must throw it back.
Right.
But I'm keeping this one. What the hell are you talking about,
dude?
I get it. It's Machado, whatever. He was a former Dodger. But Machado's the one that comes at those Dodger pitchers every single time.
No, Machado's different than Cronenworth.
Right.
That's a little different.
But I don't get it. Why keep the ball?
Look, I'm the wrong person to ask because that's not my jam necessarily. Like, I keep it, don't keep it, doesn't move me one way or the other, but that he was prepared for a little, sleight of hand switcheroo fugazi, and he did it pretty
cleanly,
seamlessly.
yeah.
Like, he catches the ball with his left hand, reaches into his pocket with his right, and throws it out there. I was
Also
pretty impressed with
ambidextrous, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive. It really was. I'm just not I've told this story 100 times. I've caught one foul ball in my life. I get it. If the ball's not worth something, eventually you just got a ball in your hand.
Yeah.
Now I got to walk around the rest of the game with this thing. Like, after I caught Eric Karros' foul ball off the bat, off his bat from Denny Nagel, the pitcher for the Rockies, I'm like, yeah, I finally got one. I've been waiting my whole. I got to carry this around for 7 more innings.
It's a baseball.
Yeah, but you can't really put a baseball in your pocket.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
He had like a sweatshirt pocket, so it was a little bigger.
It was just weird. Yeah. It's just me. It's just I'm the wrong guy.
Surprised Dodgers security didn't go out there and
we're not going to authenticate
this guy.
Yeah. Who's hot? Who's cold? Is brought to you by NextGen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. Call 833-3-NEXTGen. That's 833-3-NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. The Dump, little super crosstalk. By the way, 2 super crosstalks tomorrow, so you start preparing. They get to lead Super Crosstalk
kind of
tomorrow.
determine
we
what
can just kind of come in and react. That'll be a different thing. The Dump's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
It's time for the Dump.
All right, so we haven't really talked about this today, Slee, but The Masters ended yesterday. Scottie Scheffler won his second Masters championship in the last 3 years, but we haven't gotten a chance to talk about the pool too much, which I feel like I should congratulate you. You won. You invested 20.
Yeah.
You made 55.
Yeah.
It's a $35 profit. That's awesome.
I don't know how to feel.
Tell them why you won. Tell the people.
So let me give a little backstory to this.
Okay.
You guys had mentioned, you and John were talking about you guys were going to be in a golf pool, the Masters pool.
Yeah.
And said that Beto was doing it. I think you said you're in 2, and maybe John said he was 2, whatever it is. So Beto, I think, saw an opportunity and said, well, let me forward this to Al.
Okay.
So he forwards it to me. I put my picks in. I've never played it before. There's tiers. I want to say 6 different tiers. I go over my picks with you on Thursday, and you're like, Al, the hell are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I don't play Masters. I don't watch golf.
I don't pick. Yeah,
I don't know what the hell's going on.
You don't watch golf. How would you know?
I don't know.
How do you know who's supposed to pick?
But here's what I think I accomplished, and I have mixed feelings about it. Every day from Thursday to Sunday, I got a text from Beto saying, you won $10. And the first time I got it, I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. I got, I got
you got
last.
the booby prize.
I got last, so I got $10. Then the second time I got it, I'm like, okay, I got your money back, but geez, Al, I mean, are you really going to get last every time? Or, that's 2 days in a row that you got last. And then it just became, I was waiting for the text to come in. Do you know I never logged into the pool? I never saw anything.
Well, I have it right here. Would you like some numbers?
Do you know I never watched 1 second of the Masters?
I believe you. I
basically, should you feel good about, it's like you got the number 1 pick in the draft, but you also broke a record for the most losses in the history of the NBA.
Well, the problem is, this is the list you would pick if you were trying to do bad, but you couldn't do that either because, like you said, you don't watch golf. You don't know the names that you're picking at. So, if I said the NFL or the NBA and you said pick the worst team possible, okay, I know that the Pistons are terrible. I know that Portland's terrible. You'd pick them with intent. This was done without intent, and it landed you where you did. You finished 40th out of 40.
Okay.
Your score was plus 56. The person who finished in 39th place, who, by the way, is named John Ireland.
John was 39th?
I believe he was. Yep, John was 39th.
Oh, I feel a little better now.
Okay,
because John knows what's going on.
You were plus 56 in 40th place.
Can I guess his?
Sure.
Plus 25.
Not quite that bad.
Okay.
Plus 37.
Okay.
So you're talking about 19 places differential. And then look, I didn't do much better. I finished 31st with plus 19, but now we're in some more human numbers. Beto was 24th. Lindsay Golf killed it. She was the only one here that finished in the top 10.
Wow.
She finished 7th overall.
Lindsay loves golf. She likes watching golf. She's been around a long time, so she knows what she's talking about.
She nailed it with Ludwig.
Okay, shouts out.
Very good pick with her for Ludwig.
Well, you kind of got what you wanted.
I got exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, you said that if I could just get last, that would be great. That'd be kind of a good story.
You went wire to wire.
I didn't just go last. I broke records.
Beto said in the group, I think you were on it too, he goes, this is the first time I've ever been doing this pool in I don't know how many years that we've had a wire-to-wire last place winner. So congratulations to you for
How do
that.
the points work?
How to spend my
for
money.
that? How do you earn points to win?
Okay, so basically your
Or how do you
players
earn
are your
points
score.
to
So
lose?
if I had Scottie Scheffler at 11 under, his final score at 11 under, and my other 3 top guys all finish at even par, my score is 11 under. So you just add everybody up. Slee's 4 best guys were a grand total of 56 over par. That's what happened. Will you play again next year?
Sure, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Just put that money aside.
Now,
You've got buy-in for 2 more years.
Here's the problem.
House
because
money, Slee.
This is the problem. When we do our March Madness bracket, I've told you, I'm like, look, whatever Jay Billis is doing, we're going to probably be on the same page, and then I'm just going to go randomly and make my own picks. I feel like I shouldn't put effort. I think I should continue doing what I'm doing.
You couldn't do that again if you tried.
I was going to say, but now I know the players. I know a couple of the players. You told me tier 1, there were basically 2 guys I should have picked.
Yeah, it was Scheffler or Rahm. Scheffler won.
But now I know that.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't mean he'll be the obvious choice next year.
Yeah.
It changes. It changes.
Pick Max Homa next year, as long as he doesn't do another
burrito roll. Vern Lundquist, of course, big topic of conversation in and around the Masters. He finished his 40th Masters this week. An unbelievable broadcasting career, not just the Masters, college football. He's the voice of the Dallas Cowboys for a period of time. Just an unbelievable career for him. So congratulations to him.
And an unbelievable meme.
Tiger Woods. He was sitting behind. Vern Lundquist for the last several years has called the action at the 16th hole.
Yeah.
And he's up in the tower when the leaders come through for the day. But prior to that, he sits in a chair kind of behind the green. And as he was walking away, Tiger Woods noticed him, went over to shake hands with him, and I would assume wish him congratulations on his retirement and a career well lived. Mm-hmm. But you couldn't see Vern. You could just see an arm sticking out from the tree.
Literally just an arm. That's it. Nothing else.
It was great. It looked like Tiger was shaking hands with a tree.
The cameraman, it's like, can't go a little left, maybe a little bit right.
No,
like,
you can move unless you're on a tripod.
Get like a little bit of an angle here going.
I like the idea that
it was a weird angle.
I like the caption that was like, when the edibles feel like they haven't started to hit, and then they do, and then you're just shaking hands with the tree.
That's pretty good.
That's about right. As mentioned today, 1947. April 15th, tax day, 1947. Jackie Robinson became the first black man to play in Major League Baseball. He went 0 for 3. He scored a run. The Dodgers beat the Boston Braves 5-3 in that one. And Jackie Robinson, Ali, I'm sure there's some others that I am forgetting along the way, but they're almost more a part of history than they are a part of sports history. And Jackie certainly is probably near the top of that list.
One of the things I like, and this is maybe just my rec league ties, I love the Jackie Robinson parks.
Oh, yeah.
Got all these parks that are around, and that's something that
I bet you run into him a lot because Jackie Robinson grew up in Pasadena, and I know where UCLA plays their home games for baseball is Jackie Robinson Stadium, beautiful little college ballpark. I know there's a Jackie Robinson Field adjacent to Brookside in Pasadena. There's a lot of them. There's a Jackie Robinson statue, I think at PCC.
It is.
It's actually really cool.
And then they have those big heads outside of City Hall, I believe.
Him and his brother.
Yeah,
right outside of City Hall.
Big.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. It was today that Cal Ripken collected his 3,000th hit in a game against the Twins. Just the 7th player at that particular time with 3,000 hits and 400 home runs. He's another one of those guys that I was not a huge fan of.
Why is that?
I thought the streak was a little, not that it wasn't remarkably impressive, but it's like, I get it. It has far more to do with being a little lucky than anything else. Then I met him and he's awesome. And he's just such a good guy, so good at telling stories, such a warm, fun guy. I'm like, no, I can't even.
Okay, which one?
I like rooting against things.
Which one? I was going to say, which one do you want? When you have a perception of somebody, and let's say it's a negative perception, do you want that interaction to be negative? Like, do you want to say, oh, I knew it, or are you like, you know what?
No, it's always better to meet somebody and you're actually like, I really like that guy. Mm-hmm. That's always better.
You want to believe that people are good.
What's worse is if you like somebody. If you feel like you like somebody and then you meet them, you're like, oh, well, that guy was an a-hole.
It's like watching a movie. Like, you want to watch a movie, and people are like, oh, that movie sucks. But then when you watch the movie yourself, you're like, you know what? That was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's how I...
Scarface.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, not great. You guys should watch it tonight. Come in with like a little mini book report tomorrow
After
on the plot. Not whether you liked it or not, but the actual plot.
What I need is also
to watch Scarface.
I need Susan to watch Planet of the Apes because I watched all the Planet of the Apes movies this weekend, and so that she can realize they're actually great.
Susan's at work today, so I'm 99.9999% certain she's not listening right now. But if she is, she just threw her phone across the room.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is a great movie. It's also the peak of TNT movies. It's a movie that you don't actually have to listen to. You just got to watch.
I'm going to try to see this week. I'm going to go try to see Civil War.
Yeah, I talked about it on Friday. It's called Civil War.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
I remember you talked about it, and you said you were stressed as heck. And I watched in a couple movies that I've seen, watching the previews of it, but I want to see it.
The best Planet of the Apes is the one with Mark Wahlberg.
That's the worst one, but go off, King. But Civil War.
That's the best one by far. Mark Wahlberg.
It's actually not.
That's the best one.
Proven to be not. But Civil War, interesting to see what you
Proven,
say.
like it was like a
It's
science
like she produced it and like has this ownership. No, it's just terrific.
Have you seen Ex Machina, Al?
Mm-mm.
Watch that before you see Civil War. So that's by the same director who did it, Ex
What's it called?
Machina. Ex and Machina. It's about AI. So I thought you'd be interested in that, and if you like that, you'll like Civil War. Very different, but Alex Garland shouts out.
One more little this date in history. 1975, April 15th, April 15th, 1975, Slee. Something happened in your hometown that I always bring up when you fail to bring it up.
Right. That's right.
The San Diego Chicken made their debut, right?
Let's go.
I love the Chicken.
Is the Chicken non-binary? So their debut?
Its debut, their
yeah,
debut.
Their debut, its debut.
I don't know, but a chicken would be an it. So we'll just go with the chicken. The chicken
debut.
made its debut, and I'm a lot older than some of you, a little bit less than others. The chicken had a moment, guys. I don't think you understand how famous the chicken was for just being a mascot. It wasn't just like, oh, there's the chicken. The chicken was on TV shows. Like, he would show up at award ceremonies. He was a super famous chicken, Slee.
Yeah, I'm trying to look here. When's the last time you've seen the San Diego Chicken?
Oh, he has been gone for a while. I don't think he performs anymore.
Says the San Diego Chicken
performs anymore.
At least I'm looking here, 2009.
Well, he got in the guy that was the chicken. Okay, go ahead. I think I know the chicken's real name. I think it's Ted Janulius.
42 years of playing the chicken.
Yeah, is it Ted Janulius? Is that him? Is that his real name? I think it is. They got in I don't know if it was with the San Diego Padres or the city, or there was some sort of discrepancy of who owned the character of the chicken. So he went away for a while. I have way too much chicken knowledge for my my benefit. You know what we should do right now, even though they're not here, Jorge? We should do a little super crosstalk.
AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Woo, woo, woo. Mason will be joining us in a minute. Ireland is on an extended stay in New Orleans.
Yes, I am.
How about, were you prepared for this all along,
Good work,
John? Was
Good
this
work.
like pack an extra suit situation just in
They
case?
told us to pack for 6 days at the start of the road trip. It was originally supposed to be a 4-day road trip. And they said there is one scenario under which we'd end up staying in New Orleans, and that's the scenario that came in. So we're here until tomorrow night.
Okay, so you're here until tomorrow night. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. Did you get a chance to keep a close eye on Beto's golf pool over the weekend?
So I was in 2 golf pools, and my strategy worked, but I'm no longer going to do it this way. So here's what I did. I picked all the guys I thought we would win in the other pool, and I won $90. It cost $20 to get in.
Okay, nice win.
So on Beto's pool, I said I'm going to take 6 different golfers than I took. That way just to kind of cover my bets.
Spread it out, yeah.
And I don't think any of my golfers in Beto's pool even made the cut.
You had 3 guys get cut. You did have 3 guys make the cut, but no one was under par. You had Harris English, McIlroy, and Tom Kim for a grand total. Oh, and Victor Hovland also had to factor into your score.
No, yeah, but he didn't make the cut.
No,
I
he
know
did
that.
not. Your final score was plus 37th. You finished 39 out of 40 participants.
What? Who got 40?
Take a guess.
Well, it's not you.
It's not me.
There's another person.
I don't think Mason did it.
No, Beto never even sent it to me.
No,
he never
there's-
sends me the
There's
golf
another person on the show that also played for the first time.
Oh, Slee, was
And
you?
then-
I beat you. See, if you're going to finish 39th, you might as well finish 40th. I'm a little jealous
Well, I didn't
of
just
you.
finish 40th. I broke records.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Records were broken this weekend.
Nice.
So here's the funny thing, Trav. I lost more money in that other pool in a tiebreaker because I didn't have Tom Kim.
Oh,
and I had
that
him in Beto's
stinks.
pool. So
That
that's why it
stinks.
gets too confusing. I think I'm just going to do one next year.
Slee was the first ever wire-to-wire last place finisher in Beto's pool. But here's the good news.
Congratulations.
Don't you get money if you finish dead last?
All 4 days he won money.
He's cashing in every day.
Oh, wait a minute. So if you finish
Like
last, you get
Tino
money?
in Vegas.
Yes.
Slee cleaned up.
Listen to me. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I proved I had no
Clearly.
idea I
Yeah,
was
but
doing.
you won money.
And I
So-
won money for that.
God
So there
bless
you go.
you.
How do you win money
Hey,
for
by the way,
being that
Trav,
off?
you were talking about the San Diego Chicken.
Yeah.
Do you guys know that started as a radio station promotion?
I think a KGB.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, KGB was a rock station down there. Still is, I think. And the chicken was
Ted Gianolis.
Yeah, it was the KGB chicken. And he would go to all the big San Diego sporting events as a promotional vehicle for the station. And he became so popular that he ended up leaving, and he actually got in a legal battle. The station claimed they owned the rights to the chicken.
Yep.
He claimed he owned the rights to the chicken, and they settled out of court somehow, and he went off on his own. And Mace, is he still alive?
I don't know, but I can tell you when I was in minor league baseball, it was a big deal. The San Diego Chicken came twice a year, and it was a sellout. He was a gigantic star. I have no idea if Ted's still alive or not.
Yeah.
He's just with
the president.
Ronald Reagan. President Reagan. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, huge hit.
So there's a theory that I can't find anybody that is actually saying this is what they think they should do.
I found one.
You found me.
Really?
And you. Okay, because Greeny had it.
If where you're going, Trav,
Okay.
Harrison Fagan and Mike Greenberg are both on record as saying they should.
Yeah,
do it.
by the way, I'm going on record right now. They should absolutely
give us your game
tomorrow.
plan. You got a game tomorrow.
Well, explain what it is, Trav. What we're talking about.
Okay, so what we're talking about is the Lakers are the 8th seed. The winner of the Pelicans and the Lakers will be the 7th seed, which will draw the Denver Nuggets.
Denver waiting for them.
The other winner out of the play-in will be the 8th seed, which would draw the Oklahoma City Thunder. So the theory goes the Lakers have a far greater chance of beating the Thunder than they do the Nuggets. Lay down tomorrow.
Yep.
Get ready for Friday.
Yes.
And slide into that 8th spot.
Slide into the 8 and play OKC, who they've had success against this year.
Yes.
John, are they not 3-1 against
3-1.
OKC?
Yeah, 3-1.
And but here's the problem with the Mason plan.
Yes.
They're 1-7 against both the Warriors and the Kings. So you are asking them, Mace, to tank a game tomorrow in order to play the Warriors and the Kings
in a one-game
playoff when they're 1-7.
Would you rather have that or lose in another sweep against Denver in the first round of the playoffs?
I don't accept your premise that it'll be a sweep.
Oh, well, it could be a gentleman's sweep, but I mean, Denver will beat the Lakers. Period. Denver is.
I think they will too, Mace. But I think you invite so many potential disasters.
What's the worst that can happen?
The worst that could happen is you don't get in at all.
What's the best that can happen?
Right. The best that can happen is they could beat the Nuggets.
Right. Yeah, and that's not going to happen.
But
so you're saying the best that can happen is they line up against the Thunder and beat the Thunder.
Correct. That is
by the way, can I tell you guys something? The Steve Masons of the world, the fans, and I think most people in the media give the Lakers zero chance to beat the Nuggets.
Correct. I do. I give them zero chance.
The Lakers don't feel that way.
Well, it's fine.
They're not scared of Denver.
I'm sure everybody that plays Denver they go in there not scared and they wind up walking into a buzzsaw.
Right. But I'm just saying, just because you're chicken doesn't mean they're chicken. They don't think that it's a big deal.
Well, I'm
a lot of chicken talk today.
A lot of chicken.
I'm being real. I don't believe. I don't. By the way, I think the best case scenario is they get the 7. I'm sorry, they get the 8. They play OKC in the first round, and then they don't have to play Denver until the Western Conference Finals. You're on the other side of the bracket, like last year. And then if you're in the Western Conference Finals, there you never know. First round, I feel terrible about. I feel terrible about the Lakers facing Denver in the first round.
Would this theory be any more palatable, Ireland, if the Lakers had, let's just say, a 500 record against Sacramento and Golden State collectively, or maybe slightly better? Or is it the 1-7 that gives you pause?
I don't think you can tempt fate.
I don't either.
With the basketball gods. I think that
I don't believe in basketball gods. I'm an atheist when it comes to basketball gods.
He said any team that intentionally would tank a game, that would intentionally play with their food to try and trick the seedings, he would root against them, including the Lakers. He would root against any team that did that.
Who said that?
Michael said that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Look, I think there are ways to subtly tank the game. That's what I want. A subtle tank.
Give me a way or two.
Maybe LeBron only plays 30 minutes.
Well, AD got hurt at the end of the game. You could just take AD out.
He says he's going to be okay, though, right?
Yeah, well, that's what he says.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
What if he's
heard
not?
that before.
What if he's not okay?
I think you got to try and play to win every game. I just don't think you can do that.
And especially coming off a game where we were talking about what the spread is for tomorrow's game, which you
Right.
could ask
John,
them.
have, you
because
looked-
I don't understand why.
have either of you looked at what the spread is for tomorrow night?
Take a guess.
Lakers
All right,
minus.
I'm
I'm
gonna
sorry.
guess. I know it
New
was
Orleans minus 2.5.
Okay.
No, I think it's Lakers by 3.
It's New Orleans by 1.5.
How?
That's what it was yesterday.
Okay, how is that possible?
Are
After
you
they
sure you're
just
not
beat
looking
them.
at yesterday's game?
We triple
looked at
checked
it, too.
We triple checked it.
They just beat them down. And so the line is still minus
when
1.5.
Mace, when he's sharing that info to me, I'm looking up at Spectrum. We had the game on. It was 91 to
Yeah, they're whooping
59.
them.
They were up 32 on the Pelicans. Yeah, John, that doesn't make any sense. Unless the theory of Steve Mason is coming into play.
There you go.
Right. Well, I mean, Mason's theory, he's not the only one that has that.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking at it again, Ireland, and I'm just quadruple checking it. New Orleans minus 1.5
For
There
the
you go.
Tuesday game.
for the Tuesday
Makes
game.
no sense.
Yeah, well, but remember, the job of a line, when you set a line, is to get people to bet.
Right.
So that's why they set it there, because now
There's
every
always a
Lake-
lot of Lakers money.
every
get
Laker
that, but
fan in
that's
the world is
really
going to go,
narrow.
I get
That's
the
basically a
Lakers
pick 'em.
and points. I'll take it.
Yeah, Lakers and points is a good bet, considering what happened yesterday.
1.5?
Yeah.
The 2 times that they've played this team with something to play for,
Right.
they've drilled them.
Yeah.
They drilled them in the mid-season or
Yeah, in the
in-season
in-season
tournament. They
tournament.
drilled them last night.
Yeah.
Like this feels like one of those things that I'm not seeing the thing that's setting the line right there, and it scares me to death. What am I not seeing?
I don't know, but here comes the reaction. This one from JR. Please send Mason back on vacation.
Oh, screw you, JR.
I can't stand so-called Laker fans having no faith in beating another team.
Not
We
gonna
have
beat
what
Denver.
it takes.
Sorry.
Mason is a softie.
Yeah, I'm not a softie.
You're
I'm sitting
strategic.
here. I'm sitting here. I'm going to take the fire all day long because I know most people disagree with this.
How far into the Lakers Nuggets series can it go before you say I think they got a chance? Let's say the Lakers win the
2-2.
opening game. 1-0. They're up 1-0.
They win a game on the road at Denver. They may have
1-1.
tilted the series.
So you get back on board at that
No,
point.
then Mason will say Nuggets in 5.
It feels like a gentleman's sweep to me.
Look, I don't expect him to win, but it's not 0. It's never 0.
No, it's never 0.
They got a couple games.
But it's maybe you
got a
get
couple games.
You squeeze 6. If you squeeze that series to 6, that's pretty good.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. Lakers look at these playoffs every year as championship or bust. And if that's what you think, if it's championship or bust, what difference does it make when you play the Nuggets? You got to go through them anyway.
You won't play them till the Western Conference Finals.
Right. If all you care about is the championship.
That's all I care about.
Somebody
is the
else maybe
championship.
takes them out?
The
No, you
best
don't.
road-
You
the
just
best
said you
road
want.
to the
You just
championship.
said they have no chance to beat the
Correct.
Nuggets, and they're going to meet them in the Western
In
Conference
the
Finals.
Western
That's
Conference
not a title.
Finals, no, it's not a title, but at least you're surviving. At
So
least
you
you're
care
getting
about more
games.
than the championship.
Sure, correct. I care about a long playoff run. I'd like to have a long playoff
Well,
run
that's the difference
all the way
between
to
you
the
and
Western
them.
Conference Finals.
They just want to win the whole thing.
How was your vacation?
It was excellent. Excellent. I had a great time.
Did you go to Ohio?
I went to Ohio. I went to Bowling Green State University.
Very nice.
Did they roll out the red carpet for you?
I've inspired a generation of
Have you
broadcasters.
really?
Yes.
Did you speak?
I did. I spoke at multiple classes. Went to the communications building. They got beautiful studios there. Coached people up a little bit.
great.
Is there any reference? Is there a building, a room, a trophy named after Steve Mason?
There's a scholarship named after Steve Mason
At Bowling
No
Green?
kidding.
At Bowling Green. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations.
do I have to be gay to apply for it?
No. It's the straight kids are allowed to play.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, it's
an open playing field.
It's open to everybody. Open to everybody. But
full tuition, I might turn gay for that.
yeah, it's not. I don't know. I think it's a few thousand. Maybe it's $2,500. I think something like that.
That's outstanding.
Yeah. I'm
That's
excited
outstanding.
about that.
You
by
said
the way,
you were coaching people up?
Yeah.
What would you say to Sliwa and I?
Stay at it, get your reps, hang around. Something good will happen.
Hang around is good advice. It's basically been my entire career.
Hang around, something good will happen.
Show up
to
every
work.
day, get along with everybody,
And you never know.
and
Look
you
at-
never know what might
look
happen.
At Sleeves
Yeah.
out there
Hey.
selling spots and dots. Next thing you know, there's
Keep going.
Slee on the air.
Every
going.
time I've heard, just get some more reps, I'm like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's never a good
I
feeling.
met somebody who I think is going to be a big star. For
Oh,
Bowling
really?
Green. Yeah. Her name is, and you can look her up, Brooke Blake.
Okay, it's a good name.
I walk into this class, and
She's a student?
Yeah, she's an Ohio 11. I mean, she's just absolutely beautiful,
Okay.
right? So, I looked at her right away. I thought, oh, she's going to be a sideline reporter. And sure enough, that's what she wants to do. So I start talking to her a little bit. It's Rob Blake's daughter.
Oh.
Rob Blake went to Bowling Green, and now Brooke is going to Bowling Green to sort of follow in her dad's footsteps.
Okay.
And she's going to be big. She's going to do really, really well in life.
Brooke Blake.
Brooke Blake.
Look for her on a sideline near you before too long. Right?
We're throwing off a little tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Super Crosstalk, and we're coming in secondary.
Oh, right. I heard everything gets juggled tomorrow because of the playoff game, right?
Yeah, 7, 8 to 10.
Sedano and Cap are going 7 to 10 in the morning.
7 to 10.
Any advice for us doing Super Crosstalk where we walk into another show? Because it's the first time we'll have ever done that.
Just just bring a lot of energy.
Okay, got it.
A lot of energy.
Got it.
Even if you don't have anything to say it with a lot of energy, and you'll be good. Enthusiasm.
Was that another one
it's
of the
all about
tips?
enthusiasm. Yes, exactly.
Super Crosstalk's brought to you by In-N-Out. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger's all about. See you tomorrow.
The LA 84.